Welcome back, everyone, to the 2003 SWAC Championship. Southern over Alabama State, 10-0 here in the second quarter. And I'm joined by Dr. Edward Jackson, the Chancellor of Southern University. Chancellor, thank you for coming down, braving this cold weather from your warm box. You have to be excited about what's going on right now.
Absolutely. I think it's a marvelous game in spite of the weather. The kids are ready for this game. The crowd is enthusiastic. In spite of the cold and rain, this crowd is as enthusiastic as you could expect on a day like today.
That's right. The Jaguar Nation is in full force. Blue and gold all over the stadium. How many people you think you brought down?
Well, we estimated we'd bring down about 10 to 15,000. I'm not certain how many are here in the stadium, but they're around this stadium, in those RVs, in the hotels. They're ready to celebrate if we can do this thing right.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Edward Jackson, Chancellor of Southern University. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much. And Dr. Jackson, you know, the Jaguar Nation does travel. And they travel, like you said, they may not be inside here, but they're in those RVs out there. They've been tailgating since yesterday.
They're definitely watching NBC back in Baton Rouge.
Certainly are. As our student athlete of this week is Quincy Richard. He's a grad student majoring in secondary education and a 3.4 GPA. He is 15-2 as a starter at Southern since coming there from Opelousas, Louisiana. And his mother's an educator, his father's an educator. He's got a younger brother who's a senior in high school down in Opelousas. Not a football player, though, but a basketball player.
And that's what I say. The SWAC is all about having good stock. Quincy Richard comes from good stock, and they got generations of great athletes down here in the SWAC conference.
This goes incomplete. Quincy Richard. This pass intended for Drayton Bridges out of Brandon, Mississippi. Being covered by Antoine Hill from Mobile, Alabama.
When we talked, going into last season, what were some of the things that Coach Richardson was worried about? And last season, Richard, he was in the middle of a quarterback controversy. This year, in a game like this today, 6 of 13, 57 yards. Last year, he'd have been pulled out the game. This year, they're keeping him in there because he's got the leadership and the maturity, and even though he's not having a stellar performance, his team is winning where it counts on the scoreboard.
Certainly are, and it's 3rd down and 7 for the Jaguars of Southern. Again, Richard from the gun. Looking on the side. Has a man there, and it's complete for a 1st down, and he's out of bounds across midfield into Alabama State territory. And on the reception, Lionel Joseph. Lionel came in with 46 receptions for the year. What was that?
That's Chris Davis. This is the big-time throw. Look at the hash mark. He throws the ball. He's on that hash and throws the ball to the far sideline. That's about as toughest throws you can make as a quarterback, throwing from one hash mark in college football because they're wider than the NFL. So he threw that ball from one hash mark to the other sideline. That's a big-time throw from a big-time quarterback.
And we talked about key losses from a year ago, like Mike Hayes, James Allen, Gary Jenkins, Herman Hartman, Terrence Arnold, Randy Williams, Jabari Green, Chris Cooper. I mean, these guys have stepped up this year. Whole new set of, a new cast of characters, as they like to say. Almost intercepted, in and out of the hands of Billy Gresham, the middle linebacker.
Yeah, that's one you got to have, and he almost got a present there. It's surprising. I think Quincy underestimated the athleticism that Billy Gresham has. He's a middle linebacker, but he's 6'2". And take a look at Billy. He's just looking at the quarterback's eyes, looking at his eyes, and he jumps up there and shows a little vertical, but he showed the vertical leap, but he didn't show the hands to go with the vertical hops, as we like to say nowadays. Billy Gresham, he's got hops, but he doesn't have hands.
I think we have a penalty flag against Southern University. We talk about the hops and Billy Graham in his hands. He does not have an interception to his credit this year. He's a sophomore, red shirt from Montgomery, Alabama.
He's a linebacker. He just want to hit people, Charles.
Illegal motion on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay 1st down.
So they're going to take them back 5 more yards and give them a 1st down. So it'll be 1st and 15.
And we talk about Coach Coe, but we also got to say, I mean, let's not underestimate the job that Pete Richardson has done. If Coach Coe doesn't get Coach of the Year, Richardson gets it. It goes back and forth because he's done a good job too. Possibly overshadowed by the other coaches in the conference, but his team's just won all year long.
And a little swing pass out in the flat. And it's James Vernon on the reception. And he picks up about 6 yards. And he gets it back across midfield, so about the 47-yard line.
Vernon, another one of those guys that when the preseason started, when the season first began, nowhere on the depth chart, but as the season progressed, he came up with more catches and more plays. And you see the stats there. He had 26 catches throughout the year, so he's become another guy. They just have a plethora of wide receivers down there in Baton Rouge.
And 7 of those receptions that he had came against Jackson State. 198 of the receptions for Southern University, a split between 5 receivers: Davis, Sard, Joseph, Bridges, and Vernon. They do a great job as a trio.
Distribute the wealth.
17 different receivers Richard has thrown to this season. 6 different receivers have caught touchdown passes as they get this one down to the 40-yard line.
And this is why you want to have a mobile quarterback. Look at this. Alabama State does a good job of containing the quarterback. Don't let him get outside the pocket, but step up, make one guy miss, keep your head downfield. By creating that extra 3 seconds with his feet, he was able to allow the wide receiver more time to get open. So that's why they're looking for mobile quarterbacks, and that's why he's only given up 7 sacks this season.
4 different receivers have caught passes today. Under 8 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Joseph in motion. Back across the middle. Richard standing in there with plenty of time. He's getting in trouble, and he's sacked. 8th time this year, only the 8th time that he's been sacked this year. And he was wise not to throw it. He thought about it, and then he said, I just may as well eat this one.
He was wise not to throw it, but I want you to look at the pancake block here. Look, they've got a double team, and watch them. This is called finishing off a block. They're blocking. He's got 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Pancake blocks, guys down on the field. Get rid of the football. When you have 6 seconds to throw a football, you got to throw it away. You can't get sacked. He got the sack. Now it's 4th and 8 instead of throwing it away, having 3rd and 1.
But I would rather, now it's been 4th and 1, but I'd rather see him do that than throw it down there blindly as he's going down.
4th and 1, you can go for it. 4th and 8, you better punt.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have been one. He might have gotten a penalty because he was not outside the tackle. He might have gotten a intentional grounding. There's a timeout on the field after the punt by Southern University. Only their 2nd punt of the afternoon. That one was good for 35 yards.
This one here. This holiday season, come to Office Depot for everyday low prices on technology gifts for everyone on your list. No matter what business you're in.
Christmas tree, are you here, Ed?
Here you go, Joey. Thank you, Bob. There you go. Happy holidays, Marnie.
Oh, thank you, Bob.
Happy holidays.
Office Depot. What you need to know. Now until December 13th, save $250 on an Averitech notebook computer at Office Depot.
No one told us to constantly research and develop new ways to generate cleaner electricity.
Or maintain a 99.9% reliability rate, while at the same time keeping our prices 15% below the national average.
We do it because we live here. Because we're customers too.
It's nearly 100 years of providing safe,
Reliable, affordable power.
Simply by trying every day
to be the best we can be.
That's why you can count.
You can count.
You can count
on Alabama Power.
Hey, what is it?
I realize I love you, but as long as you're with Jessica, there can never be anything between us.
Listen, Cassie, there's no need to cry. Besides, I've got really great news.
You're leaving Jessica?
No. I just saved a load of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. I saved. I thought that meant something to you.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
1st down and 10 for the Alabama State Hornets in this, our Jeep SWAC championship. Only the 5th time that this championship game has been played. You know, the SWAC has been in existence for 83 years, but only the 5th time that this game has been played. And, you know, the only 2 teams have won. It's Southern. They won the first one back in 1999, and Grambling, of course, won in 2000, 2001, and 2002. There's only been 5 teams that's ever played. Other than Grambling and Southern, it's been Alabama State, Alabama A&M, and Jackson State. And nothing going on in talking about players and teams. Let's look at our SWAC players of the year. Of course, Southern University walked away with just about all the honors. Offensive player of the year, Quincy Richard. Defensive player of the year, defensive back Lenny Williams. Newcomer of the year goes to Alabama State's Keldrick Williams. He finished 2 yards behind a young man from Alabama A&M, Jeremiah Bonds. Those were the Jeep Players of the Year, brought to you by Jeep, the award-winning 4x4. This is intercepted. Bringing it back is Eddie Woods.
Eddie Woods, strong safety, following the quarterback's eyes. And every now and then they tell you as a defensive back, believe what you're seeing. In this case, he did a good job of just ignoring the wide receiver. You take a look here, Jackson is locked and loaded here, and he just misfires on that one there, and Woods breaks in front of the pass. And then when you get the ball here, become a running back there. You played running back in high school, running down the field, switch the ball, cover it up, don't turn it over. And look at Jackson's eyes. He looks right here, and he looks directly where he's throwing the football. Looked like that ball might have been tipped on the line. That could have helped him out there, but Woods did a good job of coming down with that interception for the 5'11", 200 senior from Michigan.
And that is his third interception of the year. That was good for a 24-yard return.
They're all 22 there, and he just back there playing center field, and he just misfired because he had Scott open on the post pattern, but he threw the ball behind.
At the Alabama State 11, great field position with 6:10 to go. And here's a little fade pattern into the end zone.
Beautiful.
And a great catch and touchdown for Drayton Bridges.
Beautiful.
Southern University.
Beautiful.
11 yards from Richard.
And that's what you do. The good teams, when they get the ball on turnovers, they act like they shouldn't have got the ball in the first place, so they always attack after a turnover. And what you saw there was just a plain old-fashioned first pattern you learn when you play football, a go route. We call it a fade. Quincy Richard showed a beautiful touch there, and Bridges did a good job of doing the tiptoe, keeping both feet. You only need one in college, but he kept them both in bounds for good measure.
What was so ironic is, remember the last time they had the ball after in great field position, it only took them one play to get into the end zone. It only took them one play again today. So Richard, 2 touchdown passes already today.
Grand Cherokee, Liberty. You didn't try one of these, did you? No. Maybe.
They're tough to resist. During the Jeep year-end sales drive, get 0% financing or cash allowances and our 770 powertrain limited warranty on every Jeep vehicle, plus a Columbia sportswear jacket with special Columbia edition vehicles. Hurry to your Jeep dealer and see how good the best values in America can be.
Welcome back. I'm here in this 19th century Victorian with new owners Mike and Shannon Boyd. Hi, Ted.
We just fell in love with its charm.
Yeah, it's charming. Unfortunately, the roof leaks, the foundation is crumbling, and there's significant termite damage. But I do have good news. I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. Hey, we need to talk about your electrical. Whoa. Yeah, we're going to want to fix that.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This for all my players out there riding. Spinners. Ride spinners. Ride spinners. They don't stop. Ride spinners. Ride spinners. They don't stop. Ride spinners. Ride spinners. They don't stop. Ride spinners. Ride spinners. It's rolling. Ride spinners. Ride spinners. They don't stop. Ride spinners. Ride spinners. They don't stop. Ride spinners. Ride spinners. They don't stop. Ride spinners.
Charlie Neal along with Jay Walker here, where Southern University has increased their lead to 7-0 on a couple of touchdown passes by Quincy Richard. He's 10 of 17, 94 yards, and he's hit 2 different receivers for scores today, Ard and Drayton Bridges. 32 and 11 yards respectively. This kick is going to go out of bounds. There'll be a penalty. Let's see if they take it. But that was one great job of concentrating by Drayton Bridges, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. And what you saw here is, take a look here, is the one-on-one coverage outside. Richard gets rid of the football quickly, and Bridges catches heel with his back turn and sees the pylon and kicks the pylon. It takes a lot of skill to be able to get rid of that ball as quickly as Quincy Richard did from the shotgun, and a great job of Drayton Bridges of seeing the ball in and making sure he was in bounds. But that's a tough art right there, to be able to sit and shotgun snap and get rid of the ball and throw it quickly and accurately. We saw there he had pinpoint precision with that pass there. As a quarterback myself, I hated throwing fade routes out of a shotgun because you got to catch the ball, grip the laces, then throw it. But he does it so often, it's second nature to him.
I watched him in the Bayou Classic, some highlights of the Bayou Classic, and some of those touchdowns he was throwing looked like he was off balance, throwing off the wrong foot and everything
He's
else.
an athlete.
But it was getting there. You know, that's the most important thing. As this goes incomplete. This one is incomplete on the far side. You know, you talk about Alcorn State and the common denominator and how they factored into both of these teams being here. One of the things that they did was prevented Southern from having a perfect season, because the only loss that Southern had was to the Alcorn Braves, and that happened in Baton Rouge. And then Alcorn beat Alabama A&M at the end of the season, and that propelled Alabama State into the championship, because it came down to Alabama A&M, Alabama State, and Alcorn. And Alcorn, you know, Dr. Thomas down there, he's done a great job.
He turned it around at the end of that season. They had a couple games that they were in it. Let's take a look here at Williams hitting the hole hard on the outside. But I think as the season progressed, we knew that whoever won that Bayou Classic was going to be the representative for the West in this game. But the East was a whole different story. And Alcorn probably at the end of the year was probably playing the best football on that side of the conference there.
They certainly were.
And nobody wanted to play them. They gave Grambling, we had them second game of the year, they gave Grambling fits up to the last 2 minutes of the game. It was
Certainly
a 3-point football game, and they gave everybody fits. Plus they beat Southern, so you never know. That's why you got to play the season hard. Football's such a great game, because you can't just be hot at the end and get in. You got to be consistent throughout the year.
It is 3rd down and 6. This one is tapped. Let's go down to Rob.
Hey, Kerry Frazier is still out. I just spoke with him, and he told me he heard his ankle pop, and he felt it up in his knee. He doesn't think he's coming back. As you can see, number 94, Timothy Parham, is giving him support. I spoke with Timothy. He said he can't wait to get back on the field and help his teammates in the second half.
All right, Rob, 4th down, facing the Hornets of Alabama State. Anthony make that Jason Brothwell back to punt it, standing at about his own 25-yard line. Southern University has Ezra Landry, who's been out most of the season after hurting his knee. He's back there, and this one is going to go and be bounced down. James Vernon is going to let it go, and it goes and blown dead at the 24. So 5:05 the time remaining. Brothwell with a 37-yard punt. Of course, that's part of the Southern University band. Dr. Greggs, we'll hear from them at halftime as part of our Sounds of the Game. Your team leading right now 17-0. 4-time Coach of the Year Pete Richardson has his team up by 17 points as this is his 11th year at Southern University with a record at Southern of 95-33. He's the elder statesman at one school in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. There he is, Pete Richardson, a graduate of the University of Dayton, played with the Buffalo Bills, and has come under a lot of fire over the years and has never had a losing season. It's just the way the fans are at Baton Rouge.
High expectations down there in Jaguar land. High expectations.
1st down and 10 for the Jaguars, with the ball at their own 24, leading 17-0. Little swing pass out in the flat to Holmes. And Holmes makes a good move and has a 1st down all the way out to the 40-yard line of Southern University. They'll mark it right at the 40, 41 actually. 17-yard gain on the play.
And this is the screen pass. And look at the lineman here. Block down, then get out and block. Good job there. So he's got a whole brigade of blockers, put a body on a body. As you're a running back, set up your blockers inside. Good job by the offensive lineman of setting up the block down, then block outside, and getting in the way by the running back of setting up his blocker. That's a perfectly executed screen by Southern University.
And into the secondary, here he goes again. And he's spinning. You know, they don't see him. He's only 5'5".
And they're expecting the pass. I mean, he catches the ball so well out the backfield, so they're expecting the pass, but Gerald Holmes is telling you he's just getting low. You got a counter trap here. And once he does that, he gets the hole, and that's just the hole. That hole's so wide open there. And the thing that scares me most is you're starting to see this Alabama State Hornet team show a little wear and tear. At the beginning of the game, there were no holes, but the Jaguar offensive line is starting to force their will on this Hornet defensive front.
First and 10, Southern. Second down, Southern.
Hey, just when I started accusing them of slowing down and quitting a little bit, they told me, oh, I'll show you some quit there.
Big JC, he comes up with the big hit out of Columbus, Georgia. Watch JC tattoo.
A delayed draw there. Delayed draw, and he wasn't fooled at all. Quincy Richard tried to do the lazy handoff there. He wasn't fooled, and because of that, Mr. Holmes had to pay the price.
Yeah, he tattooed him pretty good.
A good old-fashioned oops upside your head is what that was.
3-yard loss, 2nd and 13 now. Play clock down to 5 seconds, and Richard, who's limping a little bit, looks like Steve McNair last week when Steve was having trouble walking around.
Yeah, when Steve limps, he seems to play better when he's limping.
Next Saturday, NBC Sports invites you to Making Better Communities. It comes your way at the Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta. Meet and greet Evander Holyfield at the 2003 Pioneer Bowl presented by Chrysler. That's the Pioneer Bowl coming your way next Saturday right here on NBC at 2 p.m. We'll start with our sports desk at 1:30. Then Jay and I will bring you the game. Fayetteville State against Albany State. The SIAC against the CIAA next Saturday from Atlanta.
You know, anytime we go and do a Division II football game, I say I like doing it because those kids are playing truly for the love of the game. You know, they don't get the TV time all the time, and a lot of times they don't all have scholarships. But in that case, Division II, they play hard. They leave it all there because they want to be on the field.
And I like, you know, you look at a guy like, we were just looking at Gerald Holmes talking about he's 5'5". You know, how many programs can he actually play in? You know, he's an athlete. He's great. He just doesn't have the size. So, you know, your big schools are not going to look at him, the LSUs and things of this nature. They're not going to look at him. But a Southern University will take a young man, and he will do great things because he's appreciative, number one, that they gave him an opportunity and that they didn't look at his size and looked at his ability more so than anything else. Don't forget the Battle of the Bands coming up at halftime right now, 2nd and 13. The rain getting a little harder here in Birmingham. Richard stands in there, throws it over the middle, and he has it complete. Not enough for a first down to bring up a 4th and about 10, as it was Lionel Joseph on the reception. 3rd and 10, make that 3rd and 10.
That's the patience there. Realize that, you know, it's 2 downs. Let me use 2 downs in order to get this first down. Don't go for it all. Set it up there. And, you know, the thing about Quincy, he's limping really bad there. And he's back there in the shotgun. You got to figure sooner or later Alabama State's going to start shooting the gaps and bringing blitzes, trying to get some pressure because he really doesn't look like he can move too effectively right now.
Holmes goes back beside him. Richard stands in there. He doesn't have to move. All he has to do is complete passes. You don't have to, as long as he can throw it. And he has this one complete to one of his favorite receivers. That's Alfred Ard out of Kentwood, Louisiana. Ard has a number of receptions today. He came in with 46.
Yeah, and this is throwing the ball on the time and rhythm. Took 3 steps back there from the shotgun, planted, threw the ball, and threw a strike. And Ard did a good job of going up and showing his hops and kept coming down with the football.
Ard with his 3rd reception of the day. Richard 13 of 20, over 100 yards passing, 122 to be exact, and a pair of touchdowns, and a first down and 10 now at the 25 of Alabama State. 2:47 remaining. Play clock down to 3 seconds. Just gets it off in time, and a fumble. And it may be a blessing in disguise. He was able to pick it up. That is Holmes. There's some scores. Wofford trailing the University of Delaware. The Blue Hens That game being played up in Newark, Delaware, and Colgate they're still unbeaten, trying to go 13-0. They're leading Florida Atlantic down in Florida 23-7 in the third quarter.
Aren't those guys from Colgate, aren't they supposed to be in class or something like that?
No, they're out for the holidays.
For the holidays. They're starting to become a little football power. They haven't lost a game in almost 2 years now.
Right, second down now in 11. Nowhere to go for Mr. Holmes that time, and this time it's Myrix Cole who makes the stop, number 99. Third down, and they lose a few more yards. Third and about 14.
Yeah, but what you have to do as a defensive lineman, once you beat your guy, take on that block, but don't give up outside leverage, and that's what he did. He saw the counter trap coming. He took on the offensive lineman, but he never gave up this outside leverage. He kept this left shoulder pointed upfield to make the running back go inside of him. Good job by Myra Cole.
From Weston, Mississippi. A minute 21, the time remaining here in the first half. And, of course, I know Southern would like to tack some more points on the board before they go into the locker room. At halftime, they lead it 17-0, and they're in great field position. They're down to the 30-yard line of Alabama State.
Well, you know, Southern realizes against a team that's got some explosiveness like Alabama State, 17 points won't get it done. So they're doing a great job of playing football this first half. But if Alabama State can eliminate some of those penalties, they can get hot and come back in a heartbeat.
And that's the last timeout, I believe. Maybe I believe that's Southern's last timeout.
What you see here is, you know, Southern, hey, 41, they're on pace basically to get theirs, but Alabama State comes in here averaging 35 points. So what you get when you got teams with that much firepower, you know, it's just a matter of time before they break out and put some points on the board. So the weather has something to do with it, and maybe neither one of those teams will reach their average for the day. But if you're Southern, you got to think 17 points isn't enough, because Alabama State, they're going to start putting some points on the board. You can't keep a team this talented off the scoreboard for that long.
Well, let's look at our all-conference team from the Southwestern Athletic Conference this year, headed by Quincy Richard, Jeremiah Bonds from Alabama A&M, 2 yards more rushing than Keldrick Williams in this game. That was quite a battle, followed by Sean Peoples from Southern University, Tremont Douglas, great wide receiver from Grambling State University, and of course the tight end was Jacob Wilson from Alabama A&M. And there's the offensive line of Harris, Lewis, the 2 Smith boys, along with Alfred Ard. I forgot him. He was also on that first team from Southern University.
He's showing up here today, too.
Kevin Harris and Robert Lewis and Zephaniah Smalley on the first team.
Look out.
Intercepted. He didn't really want to throw that ball. You saw him. He came up. He went up in the air, came down, and Parham comes down with the ball. But Richard went up with the pass, came down, and then threw it as he was coming down. I think he thought he was throwing it away.
Yeah, and actually that was Myra Cole. So they're doing what they call a zone blitz down there. You know, Parham can't play to the second half, so he jumped and delayed, then just tried to get the ball out there. And big Myra Cole just got the interception and did a good job of holding on to it. And that's the thing about this zone blitz. He was confused. What is a zone blitz? The defensive line lines up in the 3-point stands, but instead of rushing the passer, he allows a defensive back to rush, and he drops back to play zone. Zone blitzes is the new era in football.
Now can Alabama State do something with it? With time clicking down, the clock stops with the incomplete pass, under a minute to play in the half. And if Southern can hold on, the interception doesn't really hurt them. Only the 15th interception of the year for Richard.
Yeah, the thing about it, more importantly, is Quincy Richard ended up limping off the field, so I'm sure they're pretty anxious to get him into the locker room to see what his availability will be in the second half. And, you know, Tavares hasn't looked sharp since that first drive. He came out, he's gotten a little rattled. He's got to get a couple completions to get his calm and composure about him.
And he's looking long down the far sideline and overthrows everybody. Closest man to it's Clayton Harris with a black shirt on that looks like his.
Yeah, and that's what happened. You know, we talked earlier in the broadcast about how the Southern defensive line was starting to get pressure on him. And once you start rattling the quarterback, he loses his rhythm. So he came out very sharp, throwing crisp passes, and was precise. They started getting that pressure on him, and all of a sudden he started getting his phantom rushers. And once you start feeling pressure, you start making bad reads, and that's what he's doing now.
Alabama State started the season beating Florida A&M. Then they lost to Alcorn. As you look at Richard going into the locker room, they lost to, I should say, Bethune-Cookman. And then they beat Alcorn. Arkansas Pine Bluff was another one they beat. And this one is complete for a first down across the 40 to about the 41, 42-yard line. And on the receiving end of that one is Reginald Glover. 43 seconds remaining in the half. They beat Arkansas Pine Bluff, lost to Southern, beat Jackson, Prairie View, lost to Alabama A&M and Grambling, beat Mississippi Valley, Texas Southern, and Tuskegee coming in to today's contest. First down and 10. He's going to be sacked for the second time today. Tavares Jackson.
You know, when you're in a 2-minute drill, the one thing you can't afford to do is get sacked there. Get rid of the football, and that's in period. On any level of football, young kids out there listening to the broadcast, high school coaches, anytime you're a quarterback, your coach will love you if you don't get sacked. Joe Paterno from Penn State, he had one rule with his quarterback. Don't get sacked.
And now you have the quarterback on the other side. Doesn't look that healthy either. Tavares Jackson looks a little shaken up as 21 seconds remaining in the half. You see the stats on Tavares Jackson. He's 12 of 18 for, make it 10 of 22 rather, for 108 yards. He's thrown an interception. He's thrown to 5 different receivers. Chad Lucas has been the leading receiver so far today with 4 catches for 52 yards. But we may not see Tavares Jackson the rest of this half.
Looks like Nick Fortson probably going to come in there because he looks like he was in a lot of the pain and caught a stinger there. And that's the thing. Every now and then as quarterback, we try and be so macho a little bit, and we do so much running. Running backs are designed, and they're on the field to run the football. Wide receivers are supposed to run and catch it. Quarterbacks are designed to throw it, not run it all the time.
Let's go down to Mark Gray. Mark?
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Don't forget to join us for the Geico NBC Sports Desk at the half. Not only will we break down the first half of this contest with Sam Shade, our defensive insider, we will be joined by the commissioner of the SWAC, Robert Viles, and you don't want to miss the Battle of the Bands. Back to you, Charlie.
All right, Chad Lucas has the ball, goes out of bounds with 11 seconds to go. And a little flea flicker.
That was the hook and ladder.
Yeah.
The old hook and ladder play. I haven't seen that in a while. That was beautifully designed. And more importantly, the first guy that made the catch did a good job of getting rid of it quickly. What you're going to see here is the first guy's going to catch the ball in the air and flip it to him before he comes down. And Chad did a good job of making the one-hand catch. And what a great gain. And if you're Nick Fortson, you love getting those extra stats for your passing yard.
Remember the old days, 2 men couldn't touch it from the same offense?
That's
before somebody else in between could touch it. Now you can do it. You don't even have to catch it. He
just tapped it to him. A little touch pass.
That's all it is. A little basketball action there. 11 seconds to go. Fortson from the gun. Nick Fortson from San Diego, California throws. Oh, that's dangerous. That's out of bounds. And the receiver was Chad Lucas. He came on a post, and Fortson threw it out. With 5 seconds is the time remaining on the clock. They got to go to the end zone.
Yeah, a little miscommunication, and that's what you get when you get a backup quarterback in the game. And you know, he saw something, and Chad Scott saw something different. So, Chad Lucas, I apologize, saw something different. So that's when you get that miscommunication there. But they're going to try and get some type of points on the board, and they're going to go for a long field goal attempt.
This will be a 46-yard field goal attempt coming from Anthony Johnson. His longest is 40 this year. It's up. It may have the distance. It is good. 46 yards. Anthony Johnson. Make it 47. That's the longest field goal of the year. It comes with zeros on the clock. And Alabama State goes into the locker room with 3 points on the board. Let's go down to Rob.
Hey, Coach Richardson, you guys are up 17-3, but they got a gimme right there at the end.
Well, you know, they ran a trick play on us, but we're still playing hard, so we got another half to go.
Quincy Richard playing good football, mistake-free football. He's the reason why you're up 17-3.
Well, he's a little banged up at the present time, but we got to get our running game started.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Let's throw it to Mark Gray at the sports desk.
And thanks a lot, Rob Jones. The Southern Jaguars have been totally dominant for about the first 29 minutes of this game, but Alabama State gets a little momentum as we welcome you to the Geico NBC Sports Desk live at the Southwestern Athletic Conference Championship, brought to you by Jeep, of course, and Sam Shade in the house along with me. And Shady, your impressions of the first half?
This first half, it's been exciting. It's been exciting. Alabama State has played well, but they've given up too many big plays. The kickoff return, that started off for Southern with the scoring, and also the interception. That was a big play in this ballgame so far.
When you look, Shady, at a championship team, Southern is a program that's used to being in big games like this, playing on the grand stage. Alabama State looked like early on they were a little shell-shocked. took them a little while to find themselves. Do you get the sense by the end of the first half they did?
Yes, I think they did definitely on defense. The defense, they stepped up. They came up with a big stop right there to stop Southern from scoring right before the half. And the offense, Nick Fortson came out, came off the bench and moved the team down the field, and they were able to make a big play, getting the field goal.
Let's take a look at the key play of the first half. Quincy Richard showing why he was Offensive Player of the Year.
Exactly. Quincy Richard right here. He's got three Alabama State defenders back there, and he completes that pass for a touchdown to Ord. Great throwing catch right there.
And really, he had a fourth defender with him if you really want to use the back end of the end zone. That's an outstanding pass. That's a Sunday afternoon pass, is it not?
Well, the thing about that Southern offense, these guys, they play so well. The timing between the quarterback and receivers is great. I mean, you saw that on that play right there. That was timing.
All right, let's take a look at Alabama State, who had an opportunity to get right back into the contest. They apparently had answered Southern's touchdown, and finally Morgan was able to connect deep downfield.
Exactly. He's completing this pass right here to Chad Lucas. Chad Lucas has made some plays, but this play right here, this puts Alabama State back in the game, but it's called back, and Alabama State, they don't get on the board right there.
And that's a big momentum swing, but they do gain some of that momentum back. Do you think State is okay coming out?
I think so. I think Nick Fortson, they got to come back out with Nick. Nick is doing a good job right now. Jackson, early on, he wasn't that accurate with his passes, and I think that hurt Alabama State.
Thanks for hanging out, man. Go warm yourself up. We'll see you post-game. Part of the flavor of black college football is certainly the Battle of the Bands, and one of the best bands in the land is Southern University, who for many, many years has been led by the immortal one himself, Dr. Isaac Greggs.
You better get your quarters ready, because the human jukebox is always ready to rock.
1, 2, ready now. We'll put a quarter inside Southern University's human jukebox and show you how real music is played on every field they take. Meet the band.
Often imitated but never duplicated. You hear me?
Those dancing dolls. And the maestro who's molded a band in his own likeness.
When we think about this modern era of black college marching bands, we think of me. We think of you.
To consider him a character is in fact a little bit of an understatement. In fact, if you know anything about Dr. Isaac Greggs, you might want to consider him the best character.
Go on the East Coast, West Coast, or in between. Every college band, every high school band, mostly in the state of Louisiana, has a film of Southern University. I don't blame them. Because I was somewhere else, I have a film of them too.
It's going to be all right.
Yes, it's going to be all right.
He's the daddy, some call him the doc. He's the maestro of the Southern University's marching band from Jaguar land, the one and only Dr. Isaac Greggs.
I've been here for 34 or 5 years.
You lose count.
Yes, it's been so long, man, I forgot. But it's all been good. It's all been good. That's right.
Will the marching band from Jaguar land please take the field and give me a beat?
They love you, baby. They love you. I know. I know.
And welcome to the SWAC Championship Game Battle of the Bands, sponsored by Jeep. Jeep, the most award-winning 4x4s in the world, presenting that Southern University human jukebox from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, under the direction of Dr. Isaac Greggs. The human jukebox of Southern University from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're back to Birmingham with SWAC Commissioner Robert Viles as the championship game continues.
There are no gold medals for the 4x4 that masters Arctic snow. There are no championship games for fording muddy water. And there are no finish lines for the one that makes it over stacks of treacherous boulders. So why do we make sure every Jeep 4x4 is trail rated to such strict standards of capability? Perhaps the better question is, why doesn't everyone else? If it's not trail rated, it's not a Jeep 4x4.
I love to run, and it's not a problem. The hair goes with me when I run.
I would always wear a hat, even in the pool.
My tennis game has improved. I don't know, it just feels like I'm always acing the guy.
Hello, I'm Dr. John Parker. Hair loss is an all too common problem, but finally there's good news.
The Parker solution to hair loss?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Just for all my players out there riding spinners.
And welcome back to Birmingham for the Jeep Southwestern Athletic Conference Championship game between Alabama State and Southern. And here now the Alabama State Marching Hornets under the direction of Dr. James Oliver.
John and the East Side Boys. And now your on-the-field announcer, Richard Fisher.
The Alabama State Hornets Marching Band concludes our Battle of the Bands coverage, and the Battle of the Bands have been brought to you by Jeep. Jeep, the most award-winning 4x4s in the world. And welcome back to the Geico NBC Sports Desk. Mark Gray in the house, and joined right now by the Commissioner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference, Robert Viles. Commish, thanks for joining us. Aside from the rain, you got to be pleased about today's event.
Hey, Mark, first of all, it's great to be here, and you're absolutely right. This is the crowning moment for our football season.
All right, let's take a look at the entire football season, the entire body of work, if you will. When you look at it from, let's say, the week before Labor Day when it started to now, give us a state of the conference on the football scene.
Well, I'd rate it as an A. The reason why I rate it as an A is because NBC, as our partner, we put on 13 games, 27 million people. The fans were able to see our students, the campuses, our programs on campus, our pageantry, the cheerleaders. So the entire nation saw SWAC.
And that's big for the conference right now because I know you got some initiatives that you're working on.
No question about it. You know, I think the fourth that we continue to work on are student-athlete experience, the championship enhancement, our revenue sharing plan, and branding the SWAC.
And when you talk about branding, for those of us who aren't marketing savvy, what do you mean by that?
Trying to make sure that when folks go to bed at night, they know what SWAC is about.
Point well taken. Now that as we prepare to close the book on football season with only a half remaining this year, let's talk about basketball season. Very exciting brand of basketball. Folks around the country may not be familiar with SWAC basketball because football has been so dominant, but very exciting brand of basketball down there in your conference.
No question about it. Last year we ended on a very, very big high. Texas Southern and Prairie View. Mississippi Valley were very, very strong. Expect to be strong this year again on the men's side. Alabama State, Jackson State, Grambling women are going to be strong again this year. March 13th through 16th here in Birmingham at Fair Park Arena will be our basketball tournament, so we want everybody to come out.
Now, we have the Pioneer Bowl next week here on NBC, and it should be noted that this man was very instrumental in keeping that game alive when he came to the SIAC as their former commissioner after your days in the Big Ten. When you see that game play out next week, are you going to have a lot of pride?
Well, that Pioneer Bowl is still special to my heart. The only black postseason bowl game in the country. And with Albany State playing in it next week, it should be very exciting.
Well, Commissioner Viles, outstanding work. Thanks for having a chance to come back and spend some time with us. Look forward to working with you in the future.
Mark, thank you, and thank NBC.
Okay, Robert Viles is the commissioner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. We will get you set up for the second half. Can the Alabama State Hornets come back? It's the SWAC championship game presented by Chief. And welcome back to frigid and rainy Legion Field in Birmingham. Counting down to the kickoff of the second half between Southern and Alabama State here as we get ready to crown a SWAC champion and perhaps a Black College National champion. Sam Say joins me right now. And Sam, as we get ready for the second half, big adjustments have to be made by State.
Well, without a doubt. And one of the adjustments, they changed the quarterbacks. Because Jackson, he has a strong arm, but the accuracy, he was off today. And I think that was a good move, and it might pay off in the second half for State.
Well, let's send it up to the booth, to the guys who have been calling the action in the first half, Charlie Neal and our resident quarterback, Jay Walker. And, Jay, your thoughts on the quarterback dilemma facing Alabama State in the second half?
Well, I think they got to figure out a way that they can settle down their quarterback. They brought in Nick Fortson. He got lucky on not lucky, but they had a trick play. They created some offense, but they've got to find a way to settle down Tavares Jackson. He started off sharp, then he got rattled because that defensive line was bringing a lot of pressure.
And one of the things that we got to look at for the second half is, will Quincy Richard return? He has a hip and a groin injury. They treated him at halftime. We'll see probably when he comes out the second half, warm up to see how well he moves. If not, we will definitely see the backup. And, you know, what does that do as far as Southern in the second half as far as effectiveness?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can't do any rollout packets because you don't want him taking any unnecessary punishment. But then you have to shore up your blocking scheme. Southern likes to use a lot of 5-receiver sets. So what they have to do is take out one of those wide receivers, bring in a tight end or running back just for blocking protection, because you know that Quincy Richard won't be able to move outside of the pocket.
Well, that's going to be very interesting. Let's look at some of the first half highlights in the game so far. Of course, Southern University got on the board first, and here they are. Here's
Alabama State missing an opportunity there. Then you saw the quarterback throw a strike. Beautiful pass, beautiful catch, but what happened? Penalty brought it back, and that's been the story of the first half for Alabama State.
8 times they've been penalized in the game so far, and like a couple of long runs. But here's Quincy Richard, and here's Alfred Ard with a great catch among a lot of defenders. And here again is Southern University with an interception, taking advantage of it, and then the little fade pattern in the corner of the end zone, and Bridges takes it in for the touchdown. And let's look at the stats for the first half. And one of the most glaring stats we talk about is the penalty situation, although you don't see it there. But when you look at the stats, it's only 10 yards, really separating the two teams.
It's only 10 yards. In Alabama State, they can play with these guys. They've shown that, but the penalties are killing. But if you're Alabama State, the thing that really hurts is you've got 19 yards rushing. If you've had 2 runs that were 15 yards plus that were negated because of penalties, so they could easily have close to 75 yards rushing and be on pace. They're not on pace to get their rushing total. That's why they're down 14 points in this football game early on.
Those are the Geico first half stats. Now let's go down to Rob Jones. He's with Coach Charles Coe.
Coach Coe, you got some momentum with that 3 points at the end of the first half. What are you doing differently to get back in this ball game?
Well, first of all, offensively, we stepped on our toes. We fooled around, had 3 or 4 offsides, dropped a couple of passes. Should have been 1st and 10, or 2nd and 1st and 5. We 1st and 10, 1st and 15, 1st and 20, and then we got to make plays on special teams.
What are you going to do with your quarterback situation?
Well, right now, Tavares Jackson's ready to go. He had an elbow and a little shoulder injury. He's feeling fine. If not, Nick Fortune will be ready to go in the second half.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. The Hornets will get a boost when Timothy Parham, he will line up and play in the second half of this ball game.
All right.
That could be a big difference.
Yeah, sure.
Because, you know, Parham's probably the best defensive lineman on this team and one of the better defensive linemen in all the SWAC. So now they're playing at full strength. Going into this game, they were handicapped a little bit, but now you're going to see the Alabama State team at full strength. No injuries, no suspension. Everybody on the field. They've got 1 half to go out there and try and take that SWAC championship.
Well, they have an opportunity. Quincy Richard on the sideline. Not that the backup quarterbacks at Southern University cannot do the job. You have Ricks would go first. And then it would be Sharp as Alabama State will get the ball to start the second half. Foster.
Good return.
All the way back across the 40 to the 47-yard line. As you look at the quarterback, Tavares Jackson, what he's done so far today, 139 yards and an interception. So they get good field position to start the second half. That is Alabama State.
What a flip, kind of a flip there. When you take a look at Southern, start off a great field position off their kickoff return to start off the first half. Alabama State, you can tell they went in the locker room and got excited. They're starting off the second half with great field position as well.
They had that big field goal 47-yarder from Johnson as the clock hit zeros at the end of the first half. First down and 10 for the Hornets. Keeping it on the ground with Keldrick Williams, I should say. Keldrick is out of Montgomery, Alabama. He transferred from the University of Tennessee. Second leading rusher in the conference and 5th all-purpose runner in this SWAC.
Yeah, and he's one of those running backs that he can do a little bit of everything. He can catch the ball, he can set up blocks, he can run, and he can block. He can make blocks there too. So he's a complete back. Doesn't like to come off the field that much, but he's also very exciting to run, and he can also have the potential to take it all the way to the house.
Jackson from the shotgun on second down. Swing pass out in the flat, trying to get it to Keldrick Williams, but there was nothing there for him as Eddie Woods was there to make sure, the strong safety. The clock is still running, and it was an incomplete pass. I don't understand that.
Somebody's got to get on that there. Somebody wants us to stay here a little bit longer than it should be. And, you know, I guess if one of the coaches were aware of that, especially Alabama State, time is not on your side, so you need every second you can get.
It's very interesting. I don't know who the timekeeper is on third down. must be a Southern grad.
Check his driver's license. Louisiana resident or Alabama resident? As you see the strike being thrown there, that's what you like about Jackson. Once he knows where to go with the football and he makes the proper read, he can deliver the ball. And that's half the battle there. But when he gets a little rattled, he doesn't know where to go with the football. He doesn't throw those good, firm passes with confidence.
Khalid Wilson was the man who made the catch. He hasn't played a lot of games this year. Junior out of Miami. That's only his 4th catch of the year. That was good for 21 yards. He'd only had 3 coming into today's contest. 1st and 10 deep into Southern territory. Here's Keldrick Williams inside the 20, and he fumbled the ball. And I think Southern got it back.
Southern got it. That's the thing about it. When everything's going your way, and it's been one of those years for Coach Pete Richardson and his staff, even the fumbles go your way. They fumbled the ball earlier. Southern got it back. And you take a look here, you're going to have a counter trap action. Jab step here, shoot this way. He explodes through the hole, and right when he gets ready to go there, it's wet out there and it's slippery. The ball just comes loose, and it's just one of those days with the elements where things like this are going to happen. And it wasn't a good firm hit that made the ball come loose. It was just a matter of the ball being slippery that forced it to come out.
And there's a Jaguar that's shaken up down on the field. We'll attend to him and come back with more here in the 3rd quarter. 17-3 is our score. The man that's being helped off the field, Gabriel LaFrance. It looks like a right ankle or a right leg. He had his first career interception against Grambling in the 2nd quarter in the Bayou Classic. And don't forget, on the next Future of Black America, Robert Townsend, Richard Roundtree, Dougie Fresh, and host Willie Geary separate fact from fiction concerning African Americans in sports and entertainment. Watch the next Future of Black America. It comes your way January 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on NBC. Charlie Neal, Jay Walker, Rob Jones at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. It's the SWAC championship, the Jeep SWAC championship. Southern University leading 17-3. 1st and 10. Richard is in there at quarterback. But you notice they're not working from the shotgun.
No, I mean, he's having trouble just getting up there, and that's not looking good. But this is a gamer. I mean, what an athlete, what a competitor there. He can walk in on one leg, and he's got a growing pull, and that just really can limit all your running. You don't even want to walk with a bad growing there. And he's trying, and he's rubbing it there, but he's just showing he's all heart. He's showing the type of mental and physical toughness that he's made of, which has made him a champion and a leader.
Well, you know what's so interesting? He did not have to come back for this season. He could have, he had graduated. He had another year of eligibility, and it was a question whether he was going to come back this year. He came back, and you see what it's done for him. This is his last college game, so he wants to make the best of it as he has the ball complete up to about the 24-yard line. As you look at Quincy Richard, he was a student marshal, third all-time passer at Southern University, 4-time offensive player of the year in the conference this year. Player of the week, I should say, and the player of the year in the conference.
what they're doing with Quincy Richard. It's a smart game plan. They're giving him a lot of three-step drops. He's already in the shotgun, so there'll be a lot of quick reads. And the good thing about a three-step drop or a quick read, you use your pre-snap read. So you're not reacting off what the defense is doing. You know where you're going to go with the football pretty much before the ball snaps.
Right. And they're coming. And he has it complete to Sean Peoples, who has the first down. Well, let's see. They mark it maybe a yard shy of the first down, right at about the 26-yard line. He had to get to the 27 for a first down. They mark it at the 26.
Yeah, take a look. What you're going to see here is he's going to realize this is zone coverage. Nobody covering the running back. So what does he do? Hold on to the ball for a half a second and get the ball to him and let them make the plays there. It takes a real disciplined quarterback that knows the offense and has complete command of the offense to be able to get away with just doing three-step drops, quick reads all throughout the game. And since he's a senior with that leadership ability, that's been in the program for 5 years, Quincy Richard will be able to get it done.
Colby Miller on to punt it away. Deep man for Alabama State is Antoine Hill. And he won't get a chance to return it as it goes out of bounds right at about the 38-yard line. So Alabama State will go to work at their own 38-yard line after a 36-yard punt by Miller. Our NBC Trivia Question of the Week brought to you by Geico, the sensible alternative. Quincy Richard ranks third in career passing yards at Southern. Who holds the record? Log your answer or onto our website at www.nbcnetwork.com and become eligible for a special sports prize package.
That prize pack, I wonder, I heard through the grapevine that all you're doing is taking pictures of yourself and autographing it and send it off to whoever wins.
Who?
You. It's an autographed picture of Charlie Neal.
That's all right.
I'd be so mad if I got a picture of you in my mailbox.
That's right, because you can see me anytime. Everybody can.
Maybe that's what we're going to do is get a pop-up Charlie Neal. Have you we'll do the broadcast from the games and have you do them from home and just put your picture there.
That's it.
That's it. But Alabama State, key time now. They got to get some points on the board early so that Southern can have a sense of urgency about them. And teams do weird things when there's a sense of urgency about them. So State can move the football, but they got to put points on the board to make Southern do something that they don't want to do.
And here's a team, this Southern team, that's been averaging over 40 points per game. Here's Keldrick Williams. He's across midfield into Southern territory and finally right out of bounds at the 43-yard line in front of the Southern bench, but not before he picks up a first down. Let's go down to Rob Jones.
Hey, I'm joined by ASU President Dr. Joe Lee. And Mr. President, you guys are down right now, but I think you're getting a little bit momentum.
We're getting a little momentum. It's cold, it's nasty, it's wet out here, but the team is together, and they're going to come through second half. I feel confident that we're going to win it.
Second year as the president, you brought in your student-first philosophy. Is it transpiring for you?
It is. It's working very well. I'm very proud of the students and the fact that they pull together in difficult times. When you notice what we've done with this season, it is an indication of what we're able to do, and I feel good about that.
All right, thanks a lot. Dr. Joe Lee, president of ASU University.
All right, a long run by Keldrick Williams, but it may be nullified. There's a penalty flag down. Let's see.
Yeah, this is one of the misdirection there. They're pulling the guard around there, and if they're looking for the seal block there, you can't see a face mask there. That's going to be called. Both referees saw that, so this looks like one of those runs that won't be called back there. And I actually thought he was going to the house, and he's looking downfield, but see, that's what all Americans do. Lenny Williams comes around to make the play. That looked like a touchdown all day long. Once he gets in the hole and he breaks to daylight going this way, look at the effort by Lenny Williams to run hard, to go for the strip, try and create the turnover. He wasn't giving up because I surely thought that Keldrick Williams had a touchdown.
Penalty review. First down.
Run by Keldrick Williams.
And that's the stuff that won't show up in the stat sheet.
29 yards on that run. His longest this year was 40. Came in averaging 91 yards per game. It is 1st and 10 and wide open on the right side. Throws incomplete. I would have ran it.
He's out there by himself now. There's still nobody 5 yards from him, and that's just a matter of thinking you got to throw the touchdown all the time. When you're down here in the red zone, you just want to come up with positive yardage. We saw that from Wofford. The play action fake here, he falls for the play action. He's outside. There's nobody within 5 yards of him. He made up his mind he was going to throw the football there.
Dangerous pass,
Dangerous pass. Could have been intercepted there.
Because Aaron DeMond was close to it for Southern University. In the red zone.
Games every week, and the one thing I learned last week from watching Wofford, positive yards count. I don't care if it's 2 yards or 3 yards, 2-3 yards, as long as it's positive, coaches love that.
2nd and 10. Keldrick Williams turns the corner. and is knocked out of bounds inside the 10 at about the 9-yard line by Aaron DeMond. And he's still about 3 yards shy of a first down. He's got to get right inside the 5 to get to the first down, maybe to the 4-yard line. And you talk about red zone offense this year. Well, this Alabama State team was ranked #1. When they got into the red zone, they got it into the end zone 35 of 36 times, 97%. And they did it 17 times rushing, 11 passing, and they were perfect in field goals in the red zone. Keeping it on the ground and not much running room for Robert Randolph, the 6-foot, 230-pound sophomore from Union Springs, Alabama. He was going to be shy, and to bring up 4th down.
That's one of those times where, as a coach, you get down there running the ball, spreading it out. So why, when your game's on the line, well, the game's not on the line, but you really need this first down, you go to the full house backfield. I'd have rolled out the quarterback again, try and let him create something to get some type of positive yards. But looks like Coach Cole here is going to talk about it and go for it on the offensive front to try and get 7 points on the board rather than settling for 3 with a huge 4th and 3 coming up.
They're going to have to do something, probably call a timeout, because the play clock had gone down under 17 seconds. Now the offensive coordinator is out on the field, and the officials say you need to get back. Well, we looked in the first half at the SWAC first team offense. Let's look at the all-conference defensive team. The line for the Daggers, Ron Dillon, Omega Logan.
I love Omega Logan for a linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
To be
Jared
the Alpha
Prout.
and the Omega.
The defensive backs, Tyrone Parsons from Alcorn, Lenny Williams, of course, the player of the year from Southern, from Grambling, Octavius Bond, and the freshman from Southern University who's not playing because he broke his leg in practice. Now, on Tuesday before the Bayou Classic, Jamal George. He's from New Orleans, Louisiana, recruited by Clemson and a couple of other schools, but you know, they didn't really make a big effort. He said, hey, I'm going where I'm wanted. As you look at the line of Howlett from Alcorn, Alabama A&M, I like this name, Lieutenant Dukes. He'll be a general next year. Timothy Parham and Maurice Trotman. Timothy from Alabama State, and of course Maurice is from Maurice Trotman from Arkansas Pine Bluff. When you saw the special teams there, place kicker Brian Morgan and Corey Alexander. Here's 4th down. Dropped wide open for a touchdown, and it was dropped. Oh, can you believe it? Boy, you snake-bitten Reggie Glover. He just couldn't hold on. He was too anxious.
Oh, I mean, Reggie Glover, you feel bad for him. He stepped up this year when Brandon Horace went down with an injury. He's in the end zone, catch the ball, fall down, and get tackled for a touchdown. Look at the great job that Jackson does. Pump fake to the left, come back right. Great throw, hit him right between the 2 and the 1.
Hit him in the hands.
Hi. Can I help you?
We're looking for something real.
I know what you mean. Take a look.
Honey.
This one looks nice.
And it's trail rated. Really trail rated.
If it's not trail rated, it's not a Jeep 4x4.
Sundays mean family dinner at Nana's house. She loves cooking. We love eating. We all love shopping at Food Lion. They've got the freshest meats, fruits, and vegetables you'll find anywhere. With lots of groceries, all at extra low prices. We saved up enough for a surprise visit from the new man in Nana's life. He's short, but cute.
Second half of today's game is brought to you in part by Hydro Water, distinctive bottle, distinctive water ice age from Hydro bottled water. Charlie Neal, Jay Walker, Rob Jones here at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. Pete Richardson's team with their backs to the wall now. They just dodged a big bullet. They've dodged a couple of big bullets so far this afternoon. A couple of drop passes by Alabama State. 3 touchdowns, one call back. That's 3 touchdowns. That's 21 points. And Alabama State should be leading in this game very easily. 24-17 possibly.
Yeah, no, you know, this is the day where they just can't catch a break. Quarterback does a good job, line protects, wide receiver gets open, and he just clearly looks inside anticipating contact, and Reginald Glover just did come down with that reception. And you see the senior over there, Chad Lucas, telling him, you're going to get another shot, man. Get your head together, because sooner or later in this football game, you're going to get another opportunity. Make the most of it, and you better not drop it.
2nd down, 9, Southern University. Play clock down to 2 seconds. Here's the handoff in the backfield, and nowhere to go for Gerald Holmes as the defense rose to the occasion. Billy Gresham is there back there. Also, number 96 for Alabama State is back there, and that's Charles Parham, the uncle to the Parham brothers.
Uncle Parham. Uncle Parham back there with the twin brothers they have. And that defensive line is getting penetration, and they're hyped up for this second half. And now they're doing it, attacking when it counts most. Don't attack when you get pinned back against your own goal line. Attack the offense when they're pinned back and go for that safety.
It is 3rd and 18 for Southern. Richard out of the end zone, throws onto the far sideline, has it complete, but they're going to be way shy of a first down as Antoine Hill just made sure that they didn't get any further as Wofford comes back, if that's correct, to beat Delaware. They were trailing in that game early, weren't they?
They were trailing 7-3. It was still early.
Yeah.
But Wofford showed a lot of resistance, and, you know, they win 24-9. And take a look here.
Here's another final. Colgate. So they're Colgate and Wofford in the championship. Both teams' first time ever in the 1AA championship. Neither team has ever advanced this far. It is 4th down. Colby Miller punting from his own end zone. And he gets hit, but there's no flag in the end zone. And here's a catch. Coming back up the field is Antoine Hill. And Antoine Hill is in good field position all the way down inside the 40 to about the 37, 38-yard line. So, great field position.
We've been saying that all game, too, haven't we?
Yes,
they finally
indeed.
got good field position. They have to capitalize. Let's see if they do it this time. Let's take a look at our Geico trivia question.
Trivia question brought to you by Geico, the sensible alternative. Quincy Richard ranks 3rd in career passing yards at Southern. Who's the record holder? Well, it's Eric Randall. He threw for 7,286 yards and 56 touchdowns between 1992 and 95. Richard has 4,841 yards and 49 touchdowns coming into this game. He has 2 in this one, so he is up to 51 yards. That was a 39-yard punt, a 12-yard return by Antoine Hill. And Alabama State with great field position again.
Going back to the trivia, Eric Randall, I remember that was Pete Richardson's first quarterback when he first got to Southern. He went out and recruited him as a freshman, and he played as a true freshman down there at Southern and had a great career and left there as the school's all-time leading passer. So hats off to him. And Quincy Richard, my man, you just ran out of time. One more year, you'd have got him.
And they tried to come back to Chad Lucas the other way, and Southern wasn't fooled, and the pressure didn't help the situation as Tavares Jackson had to hurry his throw.
The pressure there didn't help, but in that case, you want pressure because the closer the defensive line get to your quarterback, that means the further away they are from making a tackle. And they're trying to do misdirections and do screens from the left, screen to the right. You want to see a bunch of defensive linemen around your quarterback. Your wide receiver, Chad, just has to come down with that football.
First time today that Alabama State actually started a drive in Southern's territory. Can they capitalize and keep it alive? Fumble. Recovered by one of the offensive linemen. Landis Wilkerson dove on it to make sure that it stayed in possession of the Hornets.
Yeah, Tavares Morgan, the Southern linebacker, did a good job of getting pressure there, and he realized, Tavares Jackson, what you have to do here is take a look, get your read, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. Now your clock has to go off. Get out of there. Find a place to run, but Tavares Morgan wasn't letting it happen. He kept his key, which was to spy the quarterback, and wrapped up Jackson.
So from the Southern 42-yard line, 4th punt today for Jason Brockwell. James Vernon awaiting, and it's blocked, and it's recovered by Southern University, and they have great field position at the 28-yard line. Big number 93 came up with it for the Jaguars of Southern University, Renee Gettridge.
Low snap. It all starts on the punt. It's just the low snap. And you take a look here. Once the ball's on the ground, next punter has to go down and field the ball. And once he has to take that extra second to field the ball, sooner or later, a good special teams football team is going to get there to block that punt. Ball here on a skip with a little short hop. Looked like Alice Rodriguez scooping that ball up, but the pressure up the middle got to him. They blocked it. Then Gettridge did a good job of running after he made a clean pickup and recovery.
And he's a happy man, Mr. Gettridge. And now great field position for the Jaguars of Southern. First down and 10 at the 28-yard line. Make it the 27 of Alabama State. Richard throws, and it's incomplete. And they're hitting Richard as he lets the ball go. They understand he's a little gippy there.
Yeah, they did what you call a sellout blitz. What's a sellout blitz? We're going to bring everybody. We're going to bring the linebackers. And even if your guy goes out and you're supposed to block him, we think we can get to the quarterback soon enough that he'll get sacked. Well, Richard did a good job of getting rid of the football. But in that case, Gerald Holmes, if he'd have caught that ball, there was nobody covering him. He was wide open.
He certainly was. Rodney Tucker's in the lineup right now. Richard throws, has it complete for a first down at the 12. At the 12-yard line is Davis. They'll mark it right about the 11. Chris Davis with the catch.
You know, they throw to so many wide receivers.
Was that Nelson?
Adam Nelson's in the football game.
Well, they got so many 80s.
So many 80s out there with Southern, those uniforms. Those ones look like 7 from here, but he throws to so many wide receivers. It's tough to keep up with him that way as well.
So at the 11-yard line, first down and 10. Under pressure, gets it off and throws it away. Incomplete.
They came with the sellout blitz again, and they couldn't get to him. Richard just too tough to go down the first time, selling out everybody, blitzing 9 people up the middle, one-on-one coverage on the outside, but he did a good job of getting rid of the football, but they think they might have got to him just enough.
He's coming out.
To force him out of the football game.
Yeah, and they're bringing in Thomas Ricks, who is a junior redshirt out of LaPlace, Louisiana, Letcher High. He's only thrown 3 passes all year, and he's completed 1.
So you're telling me watch the quarterback draw? I mean, because he's cold. He's been on the sideline. I'm sure that arm's not loose right now. So they're going to give him either a throw a fade route to the end zone or the quarterback draw.
It is second down and 10 at the 11. And they keeps the ball. As you said, a quarterback draw. He gets
fumble. Oh.
No, the ground caused it. You know, that was the ground. He was going down when the ball came out.
He tried to extend, and by him overextending, that ball came loose. But in this case, the rule's going to help him because it's going to look like that. But he's going down, but he's going to try and get an extra yard and put that ball out, and it's going to slip. You see him fake the dive, losing his balance here, trying to get the extra yard. Got a hand on it, and he's trying to extend, and he lost that ball. That ground did not cause the fumble. It was out.
Down.
Knee was going down.
No, knee was down.
It was down.
If you look under the hood, after further review, down by contact. Third down and 2. Sean Peoples. Peoples hitting the backfield, and he loses yards. Flag. It may be face mask. We may see a face mask against Alabama State. Myrex Cole was the man who came up to make the stop, but we may have a face mask.
Yeah, I mean, he got there and he had that play sniffed out from the beginning. He did a fantastic job of recognizing it, then bringing the running back down, because Peoples is not an easy guy to bring down, but he might have grabbed a little bit of that face mask.
Well, he hit him and he bounced off, and then they had to come back and grab at him again. So that might have been the thing that did him in. Let's see. The officials are still talking things over. We talked about Alabama State and how they started the season. Southern University started the season with a win over Mississippi Valley in a game you and I did. And then they played Prairie View. They won there. Face mask against Alabama State, automatic first down. They beat A&T. They beat Alabama State, Arkansas, Pine Bluff, A&M, Jackson State. Right here is where they may have got it.
Yeah, that looked like shoulder pad level there. And then let's see, on the second time around, does he have it? He's get. Oh!
No, I don't see his hand anywhere near.
No,
I don't know where it happened.
Charlie, tell your buddies to get it right now.
And trying to get to the end zone by way of the ground is Southern University. You know, here's a team that ranks 4th in red zone offense this year. They were 8 of 11, 72%, 7 touchdowns, 3 running, 4 passing in red zone, and they were perfect in field goals. So it's 2nd and goal from the 2. 3:27 is the time left here in the 3rd quarter. Southern University has dominated the game in terms of the scoreboard, but Alabama State, I believe, has dominated the game in terms of strategy. They just unfortunately have been snake bitten. Every time they get close to the end zone, something bad happens to them. They either drop passes, they have penalties to call touchdowns back, or something of that nature.
Yeah, you know, that shows you the mark of a great team, though. They're coming out, they're clearly not playing their A game. They're playing their B game. They've only got 157 yards rushing. Well, that's pretty good for Southern. Have 157 yards rushing there. And Alabama State is starting to get into it. But if those Southerners play poorly, they're still winning. So if they can go out there and beat you with their C game, that's a championship team.
Well, I believe that what happened on the penalty of the pass for the face mask was not flagrant. It was a 5-yarder. And that was, then they had to get the first down, which they did. And they try to keep the ball on the ground and keep it going with Sean Peoples running the ball. And Sean has not had a great afternoon, and neither has any of the running backs for Southern University. The longest rushing for the day is Holmes, Gerald Holmes. He has had a 21-yard run, and he has 38 yards. Peoples, he's carried 8 times for a total of 3 yards.
Yeah, you know what? If I was Alabama State, I would not give up here, because with a backup quarterback in there, watch the quarterback center exchange. He could bobble and something could happen.
Well, they don't get anywhere that time with Leon Miller, another running back, a senior from the Michigan State transfer from New Orleans, number 20.
With the type of team that they have at Alabama State, with all they've gone through, losing a coach and just getting the coach and being counted out, I think they thrive off of moments like this. When you pin them up against the wall and you give Southern 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, and they're going to put up enough of a fight to make it go even this far, this shows you what type of team and what type of resiliency these kids down from Montgomery, Alabama have.
Charlie Coe, as he talks things over with his coaching staff. 2:15 is the time remaining. Don't forget, tonight on NBC Network, Bill Cosby, Richard Pryor, and Sidney Poitier star in the hilarious hit comedy Uptown Saturday Night. Boy, that was a funny movie.
Uptown Saturday Night?
Yeah, watch the NBC movie classic Uptown Saturday Night tonight at 8 p.m. right here on NBC. Let's go down to Rob Jones.
Quincy limped off the field, and right now he's in the huddle with his team. The trainer, Alec Hawkins, told me Quincy's just bruised up from this game. The field is hard, the weather is cold, his hands are cold, his body is bruised, but he will come back in the 4th quarter, maybe latter part of this 3rd quarter as well.
Not much left in the 3rd quarter with 2:15 to go. Let's see who comes.
He's telling the coach, hey, I can go, coach.
Yeah, let's see who comes on the field for this 3rd down play. Is it going to be Richard? He's trying to take his coat off.
Yeah, you know, he's a competitor, wants to get in there, but I think he's telling the quarterback what to expect. And you got to figure the only reason they're not putting Quincy in there is they're going to do some type of play that requires a mobile quarterback.
He's firing him up. He's in there. He's the coach out there. Look at him.
He's telling him, go put this thing away.
Boy, they got him fire him up. Yeah. He's got Ricks in there. And let's see who he puts in at the backs. He's got Holmes. And here, Ricks. He is dropped back at the 10-yard line. A 7-yard loss. And what a defensive stand for the Hornets of Alabama State.
I mean, it was 1st and goal on the 1-yard line, and Southern ended up with 4th and goal from the 10. He wasn't fooled here. Know your job. Believe in your teammates, and JC got on to it, and he wasn't going to let that quarterback get outside. We kind of figured if it wasn't going to be a running play that Richard would have gone back in there.
26-yard field goal attempt. This one is up, and it is good by Monty Ackley. He's kicked 2 today, 1 from 25, 1 from 27, and it's a 20-3 ball game.
welcome back to Birmingham, Alabama, where the Southern University Jaguars continue to lead Alabama State by a score of 20-3. We talked about the miscues and how Alabama State has been playing a pretty good game, but it's kind of snake-bitten, all the bad luck. As you take a look here, Vars Morgan throws a beautiful pass, first drive of the game, and it's dropped. And then Jackson throws another strike for a touchdown to Chad Lucas. Bring it back because of a penalty. They got an interception. Oh, no, they miss the interception. They lose it there. And then they get here in the last drive, throws the ball. Quarterback throws a great pass. Wide receiver doesn't look. Southern University capitalizes. And then on the low snap, Southern blocks the punt, gets the ball, takes it on down to help them do a field goal they just attempted made to make the score 20-3. So we talked about Alabama State. These guys can play. They've had some success moving the football, but every time they get in scoring distance, they find a way to get snake bitten.
And when you look at the touchdowns given up by Alabama State, the drives have been 32 and 11 yards. So the defense has played very tough.
Charlie, that defense is playing tough, and they're setting the tone.
Let's go down to Rob.
Hey, the temperatures are in the low 40s, and these guys are up 20-0, and they're keeping warm, staying around this heater. They've been around this heater all day. The offense and defense switch in and out. So regardless of the weather, these guys are hot when you look at the scoreboard.
Hey, they couldn't have played for Bud Grant, could they?
They couldn't have played for Bud Grant, but, I'm going to give you a little note. Those are the backups. If you're playing, if you're moving in and out of the game, you stay warm. But if you're a backup, I froze a couple games in Green Bay. 41-yard line here is Alabama State keeping it on the ground, and new running back and in the lineup for Alabama State, and that is Nick Fortson. We saw him a little bit in the first half, and there's the stats coming in, and he played the first half when Tavares Jackson went out a little shaken up. So to bring up a 2nd and 4 after a 6-yard gain on the run by Justin Holmes. Back to pass. Fortson has it complete on the inside, spinning outside, and Glover gets it all the way down to the 35-yard line of Southern University. So Reggie Glover with the reception, a young man from Selma, Alabama. Fortson comes out, and he's got his mind made up where he's going to go with the football. 3-step drop. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of the football. Throws a strike. Allows Glover an opportunity to make the defensive back miss. Glover getting those rack yards. Run after catch. Those rack yards doing a good job there. And, maybe Fortson the spark plug that they need. He came in at the end of the second half and put points on the board, trying to see if he can rekindle some more of that magic.
Third reception for Glover today, as you see Keldrick Williams stumbling forward. Keldrick Williams, his 14th carry of the day. He's closing in on 100 yards for the season, or for the day, rather.
Yeah, what happened was he fumbled the ball to start off the second half, and ever since then, he's been a new man. I mean, he's running hard, and he's getting all these yards that he wasn't getting before, and he goes over 100 yards right at 100. He does a good job of running. He's 5'8", he weighs 208 pounds, but he does a good job of running sideways. When the hole's not there, then you can run straight through it. As a running back, you have to get creative, turn your shoulder pad sideways, and he's a great sideways runner.
Well, he had 537 yards in his last 5 games, 532 in his last 4. He's averaged 133 yards a game.
Yeah, he found a way to get hot, and they give him kudos to that coaching staff. When he got hot as a running back, they found a way to keep giving him the football.
And that's going to be the end of the third quarter here from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. 15 minutes of football remaining. Alabama State still in it, down 20-3.
Well, customer satisfaction is at an all-time high, and I think we know who's responsible for that. And no, I'm not talking about myself, although my wife would beg to differ.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Accidents can happen anytime. That's why Geico's here 24 hours a day, every day. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Oh no. Oh. Yo, listen. Got to make it real compared to what? Got to make it real compared to
Grand Cherokee,
Liberty. You didn't try one of these, did you? No.
Maybe. They're tough to resist. During the Jeep year-end sales drive, get 0% financing or cash allowances and our 770 powertrain limited warranty on every Jeep vehicle, plus a Columbia sportswear jacket with special Columbia edition vehicles. Hurry to your Jeep dealer and see how good the best values in America can be.
From the 27-yard line of Southern University, another chance for Alabama State to put some more points on the board. They just got to not shoot themselves in the foot, or maybe holster an unloaded gun. Because they haven't done a great job. There's a fumble. That's what we're talking about, Nick Fortson, and I believe Southern got it. Maybe, I mean, that's what we're talking about, shooting yourself in the foot, and that's the third turnover today by Alabama State. And a very happy number 61 for Southern University.
Yep, what happened, that's quarterback center exchange. They're not used to dealing with each other on a regular basis. The first team center with the backup quarterback, and that's what happens there. He just doesn't get this ball cleanly. Ball's in his hands. He doesn't get it cleanly. And what happens when the ball's slippery and wet, that Jaguar defense swarmed all over the place, and they got to it. Good job coming out with that football by the Jaguars. Number 44, Eddie Green. He's been playing a fantastic football game thus far today.
Third turnover, an interception, 2 fumbles, a block punt, 2 drop touchdown passes, and a partridge in a pear tree. But that'll put you down 17 points every time, won't it?
You know, all the time. And we got Richard back in the game.
And he throws back over here. Tried to get it to Sean Peoples, and it was almost a disaster because a very alert defensive back from Alabama State there was coming up. That's Marcus Wynn, or the linebacker, trying to make something happen.
But now for Alabama State, maybe what they need to get them going is the defense to create some offense. Blitz the quarterback. Rashard's left the game again. You got the backup in there. Come with your blitz package. Maybe he'll turn it over and give you some points to help your offense get some touchdowns on the board.
They spread the offense pretty wide. Bridges the man in motion. Rashard with time, under pressure, gets hit as he lets the ball go. Boy, they're just popping him in, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
Billy Gresham, he just hits him just because he's standing there.
Yeah, but what it is he had to let him know, you're the new quarterback in the game. Well, there's a reason why you're in this game, because I was popping Quincy Rashard.
Right, that's Ricks now.
Yeah, so now I'm going to continue to pop you, Thomas Ricks. Meet me, and I'm going to keep hitting you, trying to make him just give up early, and Ricks to realize, hey, man, they got some live bullets going on out here. I better get rid of this thing.
3rd and 10 from their own 27-yard line.
Here comes the blitz.
Lionel Joseph is the man in motion. And now timeout being called.
He saw all that, and he said, they're going to come blitz me. I need to get some protectors in here on that blitz coming.
The thing was, he was also looking not only at the blitz, but his play clock was running down, and he had time to call an audible.
To change it.
That's right.
That right.
Don't forget, next week, Jay and I, along with our NBC Sports crew, will be down in Atlanta for the Pioneer Bowl. Fayetteville State from the CIAA taking on Albany State from the SIAC. Sports Desk comes your way at 1:30. The game itself will kick off at 2 from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. That's next Saturday.
I don't know about you, Charlie. I'm not going to Atlanta. I'm going to Hotlanta. See, I don't go to Atlanta. I go to Hotlanta.
We understand. Just like
I'm just trying to wish good weather. That's why normally I come down south.
You only watch the women that do this.
I say that, hey, when I'm going from up north down south, I can expect good weather. Well, it's a little chilly here, so I'm trying to wish some good weather next week. So I'm going to Hotlanta, and you'll be in Atlanta. We'll see which one is hotter.
I don't even have to argue about that.
Because it's indoors. It's a dome.
I'm not even going to argue. It is a 3rd down and 10 facing the Jaguars of Southern. Ricks from the gun throws and incomplete. Boy, he was getting ready to run with it. That was Lionel Joseph. He was going to run with it before he caught it.
Yeah, they blew the coverage. I mean, they're selling out. What Southern is doing is trying to spread them out, and Alabama State is not acknowledging the guys running out in the flats. He's wide open. It's another one of those sellout blitz. Nobody there. First down markers right there. And by the time he would have caught the ball, he'd have got a first down easily.
At halftime, the score was 17-3. The only points in the second half have been a field goal by Southern University. And here's Colby Miller with the kick. And Antoine Hill was the deep man. From the 44-yard line is where Alabama State will go to work after a 29-yard punt. Let's do our Imran long-distance play of the game, brought to you by Imran Pharmaceuticals, the official pain reliever of the SWAC.
Alabama State didn't get off to a great start. This was the opening kickoff of the game, first time they touched it. Kevin Moffitt got the long kickoff return to set the tone and the tempo early in this game for the Jaguars for our Imran long-distance play of the game.
First down and 10. Chad Lucas, it goes incomplete. Not a good pass by Nick Fortson.
It's not the fact that it's not a good pass. It's a very difficult pass to throw, and it's a difficult pass to catch because you're running directly at the quarterback, coming down the line of scrimmage, and you're maybe 10 yards away from him, but he's got to put enough zip on that ball, and the ball's coming right at you with a difficult angle.
Just got too low.
Yeah, we've seen Chad have trouble with 2 of those. Not his fault. It's just a very tough catch to make.
Fortson the pass on second down.
Look out.
Intercepted almost should have been. I thought that was going to be 6. You can just see it coming from up here, couldn't you?
The whole state, that's one of those ones where
Kevin Moffitt, who's the man who had the opening kickoff return.
Kickoff
for 65
yards. Play the game. That's one of those plays as a fan, you're like, don't throw it here. Oh my God, he's getting ready to throw it here.
But it was so much room over there, and so much time for the defensive back to respond. I could have almost got out the booth and got down there and knocked that one down.
Yeah, you know, give credit for Kevin Moffitt. Good job of breaking on the ball. What Southern has done is they've gone to this cover 2, and the cover 2 is creating some problems, and they're slowing down the passing game. But look for this matchup right here. You got to find a way to get Chad the ball.
Fortson again looking in the middle, and it's incomplete. Chad Lucas, the intended receiver. Let's go down to Rob.
Hey, Nick Fortson is in the ball game right now, replacing Tavares Jackson. Almost had an interception. I asked Tavares why he was out of the game. He looked at me, shrugged his shoulders, real upset look on his face. He had no idea why Coach Cole pulled him out. Maybe it's his ineffectiveness in this ball game.
Well, that'll get you pulled a lot of times, won't it?
That will. I mean, 3 points on the board, and you haven't put any points on the board. That'll get you yanked alive. Maybe it's just a matter they just want to settle him down a little bit and then let him get into his flow.
Ezra Landry is the deep man to receive this punt. And he will not get a chance to run it back as it'll be down inside the 25, right at about the 25. Jason Brothwell, the man who punted it away. Under 14 minutes to time remaining here in this ball game. 13:57, and Brothwell's punt covered 32 yards. Those fingers belong to Ned, the assistant trainer over at Southern University.
I got to, Charles. I've got to. That one there, I got to talk to him about one of those rings he has on his finger.
What?
He's got a 1993. This one here, I don't know about that one there. We got a little debate. Black college, and that's what Southern's trying to avoid. My Howard University team went undefeated. We thought we were the Black College national champions. Southern got voted national champions in one poll, so a little debate, and that's what Southern's trying to avoid today.
But who has
by
a
winning
ring?
this game. I got one too.
Well, then you got 2 rings.
They gave away 2 rings. They split the poll there, so it's funny teasing those guys down there. And, you know, it's all in good fun because anytime you have 2 teams that win 11 games in a season, they had great years.
All right, as you saw the run by the quarterback, Ricks. Let's go down to Rob.
Hey, the news is not good for Alabama State linebacker Kerry Frazier. In the first half, he limped off the field, and he was on the sidelines with ice on his left ankle. I was told by the trainer that they took him to the hospital to get x-rays on that left ankle, and they're waiting the results.
All right. Well, Kerry went out early in the ball game, but it didn't seem to affect the defensive side of the ball as far as Alabama State is concerned. And, you know, Rob, we'll talk about this after this play. As we look at the shotgun formation on a 1st and 10, we may have delay of game. We got flags and everything else, maybe a false start also. But one of the things, Jay, that we were talking about when we were in that break, and we were looking at the fact that Jackson was over on the sideline and not playing. You're saying, well, why is he over there? You know, he didn't drop passes. He didn't hold those penalties and things of this nature, so you can't punish him for that.
Oh, that's true. And I mean, he played a good job. He played a good game. Well, he played decent, but I want to show you something here. This guy right here, when you've got 2 guys guarding one as a quarterback football one-on-one, you got to know he's coming for the blitz. So he's seeing that, and he's trying to make it audible. This guy's not out there guarding there for no reason. He's getting ready to come and blitz, and I think the quarterbacks from Southern realized that and tried to change the play, and that caused a delay of game.
1st and 15 now for Southern University. And moving again. Right tackle moved a little prematurely. Trying to get number 76. There he is. That's Arnold Sims out of Houston, Texas, Nimitz High. And he's one of those guys. He's probably the most stable lineman on the offensive side of the ball that Southern has when you talk about committing mental mistakes.
Yeah, he is. You know, and you expect him to do a good job there. But what happens is when the blitz is coming, you realize you have to slide out there. He sees all this stuff going on there. So he's trying to hurry up and get outside for the blitzing linebacker that's coming. When you have a linebacker rushing against an offensive tackle, speed kills. So he's got to hurry up and get out of his stance. And that time there, he couldn't get out of his stance soon enough, and that caused him to go offsides.
15 penalties between the 2 teams in this game, 127 yards. And then you remember all the yards that Southern and Grambling put up a couple of weeks ago. You said, there was no defense. There was no defense played out there, was it? Lionel Joseph in motion on 1st and 20. Ricks to throw it on the comeback. Ard still on his feet. Ard trying to break out, and Ard has the first down all the way across the 45 to the 47-yard line. Alfred Ard. Great individual effort.
Yes, and that's stepping up. You know your quarterback is out. You got a backup quarterback in there. When you get the football, you have to make plays. Inside screen there. He's going to come here, come get the ball this way. On the inside screen, they're going upfield to block. And what you're taught is come inside because that's where your blockers are coming from. And here, he just wouldn't go down. He wouldn't be denied. Stiff arming, straight arming, showing a little bit of speed, showing some strength, showing some overall athleticism. Alfred Ard with a tremendous football play. And plays like that help him average 17.3 yards per catch.
1st and 10, 12-15, the time remaining. And here's the quarterback, Ricks. He'll keep it. And we talked about the fact that he'd only thrown 3 passes coming into today's game. He hadn't run for any touchdowns at all in 5 games in which he's played this year. You know, so they just want to see what he can do. Remember, this is a young man who's a junior. He's, you know, got to play next year. So that you've got to see what he's made of and what he can actually do, because Richard is gone. Curvis Sharp is gone.
Yeah. And look at there. That's why you just throw stats out the window, because you would think that Alabama State would be winning this football game, winning the total offensive yards battle, but they're down by 17.
And this pass complete on the near sideline. And I was talking to the young man as just made that reception, Chris Davis, yesterday, and I said, what's the difference between this year's team and last year's team? And what's the difference between Richard last year and Richard this year? Of course, Richard started every game this year as opposed to being a part-time starter a year ago. But he said one of the things that's been the key to their success is team chemistry, and they've come together as a unit. And, you know, they've even done little things without the coaches being around, like staying after practice, the receivers working together with the quarterbacks. Even the offensive linemen have stayed and worked on pass blocking after practice. How often do you see that happen?
Not at all, but only when you have one leader and you believe in that leader. Right. And that's what's showing you what can happen when they believe wholeheartedly in one leader without a quarterback controversy.
The intent was great, and the pass was thrown just like you're supposed to throw it before the receiver turns around. But when he turned around, it was just a little bit out of the reach of Chris Davis.
And that's a timing thing there. I mean, you know, it's a hot read there, and what he could have done is put a little bit more air under it to allow Davis to get more separation from the defender. He hit him right out of a break, and the coach will never get mad at you for throwing the ball to a receiver right out of a break, but realize he's got a defensive back that's trailing him. Right. Give him some time to separate from him, throw that ball more towards the sideline.
Colby Miller back to punt it away. Fair catch called for and made by Antoine Hill right at about the 14-yard line. So that's where Alabama State will get the ball with 10:25 to go after Miller's 31-yard punt. We'll be back.
Season, come to Office Depot for everyday low prices on technology gifts for everyone on your list. No matter what business you're in.
Christmas tree, are you here, Ed?
Here you go, Chewie.
Thank you, Bob.
There you go. Happy holidays, Marnie.
Oh, thank you, Bob.
Happy holidays.
Office Depot. What you need to know. Now until December 13th, save $250 on an Averitech notebook computer at Office Depot.
No one told us to constantly research and develop new ways to generate cleaner electricity.
Or maintain a 99.9% reliability rate, while at the same time keeping our prices 15% below the national average.
We do it because we live here.
Because we're customers too.
It's nearly 100 years of providing safe,
reliable, affordable power.
Simply by trying every day to be the best we can be.
That's why you can count.
You can count.
You can count
on Alabama Power.
.25 is the time remaining here in the fourth quarter, and the Jeep SWAC Football Championship. Birmingham, Alabama, Legion Field, 1st and 10. And back into the lineup for Alabama State is Tavares Jackson, who started the ball game and gave way here in the second half. Let's revisit our Air Postall keys to victory, Jay.
Alabama State play well on special teams. Well, they didn't do that. They had a punt blocked, as well as they gave up a 65-yard kickoff return to start the game. No turnovers where they turned the ball over 3 times, and no missed tackles. Well, it's been tough to tackle out there all day. So they get a minus here, they get a minus here, and they get a minus here. That's why they're coming up with only 3 points on the scoreboard, and they're losing this football game by 17 points. Keys to victory brought to you by Air Postall.
Tavares Jackson in after that completion. It'll be 2nd down and 2. Here's Keldrick Williams trying to get outside. He turns the corner. No flags. And he's knocked out of bounds in front of the Alabama State bench. Make that Abrams, rather. Jatavius Abrams, not Keldrick Williams, number 5, carrying the ball.
And look at this. They're going to fake the dive here, give the pitch along the outside, but look at the 2 blocks you're going to get out here from your wide receivers. Anytime you see runs that long, wide receivers are downfield getting blocks by those wide receivers sealing the outside. That allowed Abrams to get outside there. So the misdirection worked. Fake the dive, do the quick pitch, and they're having success with that, but I like the blocking by the wide receivers.
And Abrams is in there. Here's a handoff to Abrams again. And Abrams is across the 40 to about the 42, 43-yard line. Jatavius Abrams, who getting a chance to run the ball a little bit right now. Finally brought down defensively for Southern University by Perry Davis.
And I think one of the things that Coach Richardson will be the first one to tell you, Alabama State came in here with a great scheme. Schematically, they were well prepared and well coached. You can't do anything about the penalties and the turnovers, but Alabama State's come up with a game plan that could have been very successful today.
Here's Jackson. He was going to run it, but somebody else had another thought. I think Aaron DeMond said, not on my watch, you're not going to run it.
Yeah, certain rules you get away with as a quarterback. If it's a three-step drop and it's not there, get rid of it. Except that used to be the rule all the time, and that was the norm throughout football. But I saw Michael Vick last week take a three-step drop, look one way, and it wasn't there, and he took off running. So unless you're Michael Vick, you don't try and get away with running the ball on a three-step drop. If your look's not there, get rid of the football.
From the shotgun, nobody in the backfield. Plenty of time, throwing it up, and it's too big. Maybe intercepted. It is carried into the end zone, and now is it a safety or what? Or a touchback? Touchback.
They called a touchback there. This is not Jackson's fault at all. The wide receiver quit running the route on him. That's one of the things. The wide receiver's down there looking back in the backfield. Instead of continuing to run, he stopped running midway through the route and allowed this defensive back to go back and intercept the pass there. You take a look here. I want you to look at the wide receiver. He leaves the screen now, but he stops running. And next thing you know, as he stopped, he's way back here to get the interception there. And that's just a poor job of not running downfield. D'Angelo Lewis did a good job of continuing to drop back, but that hurts when a wide receiver quits on a route on you like that.
They put it out at the 3-yard line, said the momentum carried him into the end zone, and that was D'Angelo Lewis. D'Angelo Lewis had to step up for Jamal George in the Bayou Classic. He was tested early by Grambling, and they picked on him, but then he came up with a big block of a field goal in the third quarter, which helped Southern University preserve the victory. 8:42 remaining here. And Southern University keeping the ball on the ground. Here's Sean Peoples. 4 turnovers today for Alabama State. They had an interception in the second quarter that led to a touchdown. They had a fumble in the third quarter. They fumbled on the first play of the fourth quarter, and then this interception here.
So we've still been waiting for Alabama State to create some offense with their defense. Now will be a good opportunity because Southern is clearly just trying to milk the clock.
Oh, no question. They're even letting the play clock run down till almost 0. I mean, time is running out on Alabama State now. Let's look at the Aeropostale keys for the other team today, Jay. Let's revisit them for Southern.
Coach Richardson said no mental mistakes. Well, they had 6 penalties with 1 turnover, so I'm going to give them a minus on that because some of their penalties could have come back to haunt them. Consistent play. They scored in each of the first 3 quarters. That's a Southern trademark. And no big plays over 35 yards. They did a good job. So they go 2 out of 3, and it looks like they're well on their way to clinching the SWAC championship by following their keys to victory, brought to you by Aeropostale.
Pete Richardson is a 4-time Coach of the Year at Southern University, and he's well on the way to becoming the 5-time Coach of the Year. That one's batted in the air.
That's Big Myrick's there. He's played a fantastic game.
He certainly has. Big number 99.
Yeah,
you don't forget numbers like 99.
You don't forget numbers like 99, especially when you get that much weight showing that much athleticism there on the edge. And they brought their pass rush to the outside, and he realized the quarterback was going to get rid of the football. They teach his D-line, if the quarterback's going to get rid of the football, don't just stand there. Put your arms up in the air to at least make him throw around you to alter the pass downfield. Who is this guy? I don't recall seeing the punter that often this much today. How many times did he kick the ball?
Kobe Miller, oh, he's kicked quite a few times.
7 times so
6,
far.
7, yeah. And he gets that one away. Here's Antoine Hill. He's trying to feel it, and then he has to fall
on it.
He goes down. Come on. Give me a break.
And then he goes down. Nobody within 10 yards from him, and he doesn't try and pick it up.
What I like about Southern, what they've done this year, their theme coming in was return to dominance. Well, they've returned to dominance. They're about to win their 12th. Time remaining is 7:08. 20-3 our score. 17-point advantage for the Jaguars of Southern University, Alabama State. And we're going to get a procedure penalty. Right tackle Kevin Harris moved prematurely. Number 62 there. Jumped too quickly.
I never got too upset at my offensive line whenever they jumped off sides. So that means they were really trying to get back to protect me.
Let's go down to Rob Jones.
Hey, the Jaguars are playing without one of their key guys. Free safety freshman of the year, Jamal George, out for this championship game. 3 weeks ago, he broke his leg in practice. Basic drill, really upset about it. His 3 interceptions, 4th leading tackle on the team with 50 of them. But so far, he's talking about that ring size. So far, his defensive backs have made up the slack for him.
It certainly did. And we've talked about D'Angelo Lewis stepped in. Here's a fumble picked up by Jackson, and he loses more yards. That was the 10th penalty of the ball game against Alabama State. Like I said, they keep shooting themselves in the foot. This is a pretty good football team. If they eliminate just 2 mistakes, they're right in it.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. You say they keep shooting themselves in the foot. Well, I guess it's safe to say the Southern on the other side has dodged a few bullets.
They have dodged a lot of bullets.
It goes hand in hand there.
That gun's been out all day.
You know, for all you folks out there, you're not seeing this Alabama State team play their best football game. And this team, I guess you all have been able to see the athleticism, but I still say that Coach Coe's done a fantastic job there. And, you know, I think that interim tag has to be coming off sometime soon. He'd probably be the permanent coach at Alabama State.
Well, you know, the 3 other coaching vacancies in the SWAC right now. One at Prairie View, one at Arkansas Pine Bluff, and the other one at Texas Southern. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there as they get the ball complete to Robert Randolph, and Randolph takes it up close to midfield to the 49-yard line.
They're setting up the middle screen and
first down.
You know, just when we get ready to start.
Oh no, that's not first. I'm sorry. He needs about 7 yards for first down.
They got that holding penalty there, but you know they're going with Fortson again, trying to get him some snaps, and you know Fortson came in and he lit a little fire there, so you never know what could happen next year in terms of that quarterback battle that's going on there. And let's see if Nick can help generate some offense for the Hornets.
And he's back to pass again. This pass, he just throws into the ground.
You know,
goes incomplete.
And that's the thing about a backup quarterback. Backup's getting there. We saw the Southern quarterback getting there, not want to get hit right away. When he saw the blitz coming, he was calling the audible. Well, in this case, Fortson had a pocket there, but rather than sit in the pocket and stay poised, he ran outside of the pocket, ran around his blocker, allowing him to be a free target for the defensive line.
That brings up a 4th down situation. He goes out, and that brings on Brothwell. He's been busy also. Both punters have been busy. This will be his 6th punt of the day. 5:37 to go. We talked about the Southwestern Athletic Conference celebrating its 83rd year this year. Founded in 1920. Not the greatest punt in the world. Takes a pretty good bounce in terms of Alabama State and dies right at the 20-yard line. Just look at our Jeep drive of the game.
Yeah, this drive of the game was a little bit of defense that created a little bit of offense. So what you see here, Tavares Jackson dropped back. Ball was intercepted there by Eddie Woods, the Southern defensive back, did a good job with the interception. And what did the offense do to capitalize? Quincy Richard with a beautiful touch pass over the top, down the hatch, touchdown throw there. Look at this. Look at over and over again. Drayton Bridges doing a good job of looking the ball in and dragging his feet for our Jeep drive of the game.
And don't forget, next week, J.I. and the entire NBC sports staff takes you to Atlanta to the Pioneer Bowl, and that's where the SIAC champ, Albany State, will take on CIAA champ Fayetteville State. It'll start your broadcast day at 1:30 with the sports desk, Mark Gray and company, and then Jay and I will bring you to action live from the Georgia Dome at 2 p.m. Right now, Southern University with the ball and a 5-yard run all the way up to the 25-yard line, milking that clock, using it well. Sean Peoples, the man on the carry, and he picks up 5 more yards.
You're going to be in trouble next week when you go to Atlanta. Those folks from Albany are going to be looking for you because you called them Albany twice.
I've never called them Albany.
You called them Albany State.
I don't talk
I'm
like that.
telling on you.
You're the Alcorn, man.
Alcorn. I know about Alcorn State now.
I know it's Albany. It's just like Albany, New York. See, there's no difference between Albany, New York and Albany, Georgia. It's still Albany. From the 25-yard line, 2nd and 5, 4:41 to go. Hard demand in motion. Peoples again, trying to get something, making sure they keep the drive alive, trying to get the yards. It'll bring up a 3rd and about 1. I talked about the SWAC celebrating its 83rd year. The original members were Bishop College, Prairie View, Paul Quinn, Wiley, and Texas College. That was 6 schools that started. Paul Quinn, the first school to withdraw, they left in 1929. Southern came into the SWAC in 1934. Alabama State came in 1982. And Alabama A&M, the last school that was admitted to the SWAC, they became a full-fledged member in 1999. So the history of the SWAC is one that's storied. And it was very nice to, as they try to go for that 4th down to get to that Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which you had the honor of co-hosting yesterday, Jay, and here in Birmingham, Alabama, and to see some of the greats who made the SWAC what it is. You know, Charlie Brackens and Paul Covington. I remember him, great basketball coach from Jackson State. Grant Allen Dungy, Alice Jackson, the only female that was inducted yesterday, but a great track star at Grambling State University, living in Atlanta now. Chuck Prophet, who was a longtime SID and athletic director at Mississippi Valley, and Dennis Thomas, the commissioner of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, and Weathersby. I mean, it was just so refreshing to see that, and the way and Marino Cassim's speech was just great.
Oh, it was phenomenal there. And I think, you know, when you MC something like that, you get to meet all those folks. All I could do was tell the teams that were present, Southern and Alabama State, their teams were there, was to tell them, I hope that when your playing days are over, you become the human beings that these individuals are, because you had ambassadors and commissioners, a little bit of this and that. So the SWAC is definitely more than just football.
There are no gold medals for the 4x4 that masters Arctic snow. There are no championship games for fording muddy water. And there are no finish lines for the one that makes it over stacks of treacherous boulders. So why do we make sure every Jeep 4x4 is trail rated to such strict standards of capability? Perhaps the better question is, why doesn't everyone else? If it's not trail rated, it's not a Jeep 4x4.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
He's just terrific, and he's brought kind of a reptilian sense of balance to business that I think was missing from our warm-blooded employees before.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This one here.
This holiday season, come to Office Depot for everyday low prices on technology gifts for everyone on your list. No matter what business you're in.
Christmas tree, are you here, Ed?
Here you go, Joey.
Thank you, Bob.
There you go. Happy holidays, Marnie.
Oh, thank you, Bob.
Happy holidays.
Office Depot. What you need to know. Now until December 13th, save $250 on an Averitech notebook computer at Office Depot.
Well, today's game here in Birmingham has been brought to you by Office Depot. What you need to know. Charlie Neal, Jay Walker, Rob Jones, and the NBC Sports crew, along with the sports desk, Mark Gray, Sam Shade here, Luke Williams in Birmingham for this Jeep SWAC football championship. First down and 10 with under 3 minutes to go. Fortson standing in there under pressure from behind. He's going to lose yards all the way back to the 31-yard line. And they're coming. The Southern Jaguars, big number 93. As Renee Getrich, who's had a pretty good game too. I mean, when you talk about MVPs in this game, there's so many people, you know, you can spread this wealth around. The defense on both squads, I thought, played a pretty good game. I mean, there's a number of people we call their names all afternoon long.
Yeah, they have, and you know, both teams stepped up to the challenge, and certain people that we profiled, and Keldrick Williams was one of those people we talked about in the opener. We said he had to have a great football game. Well, he came up with 100 yards rushing. He had one miscue with the fumble, but that inspired him to go up to better play. So Keldrick Williams is our Office Depot MVP for Alabama State.
And then for Southern University, we'll talk about that in a little while. Well, then we got a whistle here. But for Southern University, our Office Depot player of the game, Quincy Richard, his final football game And a timeout's being called by Alabama State. Quincy Richard, this is his final football game of his collegiate career, and he winds up with some fantastic yards. He had to go out with a groin and hip injury and didn't play much in the second half, but we want to say congratulations to that young man. There he is from Opelousas, Louisiana, grad student, third all-time passer at Southern University, four-time Offensive Player of the Week this year. He's our Office Depot MVP of the game for Southern. 2 touchdowns. He sees himself
on the Jumbotron.
He's looking up.
And that's almost a cumulative award. You get that to Quincy Richard for being the MVP for his whole career, what he's done. They're sizing up those rings right now.
That's brought to you by Office Depot. What you need to know. You know, 15-2, making 16-2 when he started throughout the career. That's pretty impressive stats.
Oh, that is. You know, if we've seen, there probably haven't been that many other quarterbacks in Southern University history to walk away with that type of record over a 2-year span. So in the past 2 years, he's been one of the best football players on the Division I AA level.
And we're talking about the return to dominance. And there's almost a great catch down there right inside the 19-yard line. I mean, it was right in and out of the hands. He had it. That was Reggie Glover. And that's the man who dropped the touchdown pass earlier in this game in the second half.
That's true. You know, the key about it is they've always raising the bar and the level of expectation at Southern University. So now, when Quincy Richard leaves, who's going to step up and be the replacement there? And at Southern, they've got a customer with him. Pete Richardson has turned around this program. They expect to win between 8 to 11 football games per year.
We asked Pete Richardson, he said, you know, how do you replace all these people year to year? He says, it's not what you see, it's what you don't see.
And that's what 1AA's done all across the country. It's a matter of, you know, when I talk to the coaches, I never ask them anymore, how's recruiting going? The number one question I ask him is, how many kids you got on campus that are going to be playmakers for you next year? And, you know, it's all about getting them on campus early, and if you have to take a couple Proposition 48 kids, you take them and make sure they pass all their classes to get online. Because at the Division I AA level, it's really tough to go out there and compete against some of those bigger schools because the scholarship requirements are the exact same. So you have to take a couple kids and take a couple chances on those guys. And out of 10 of them, if 4 of them make it through, you know you got 4 blue chip football players.
Well, the air flight offense of Southern University came into the game averaging 436 yards per contest, and they continue to dominate as they did throughout the season, while their dog day defense gave up an average of only 294 yards per game.
That's the way you want to do it. You know, you want to clinch it. You have the #1 offense in the conference with the #1 defense in the conference. If you don't win that championship, imagine what a letdown that would have been.
So with 2 minutes and 2 seconds to go, and 3rd and 19 for Alabama State, the curtain about to close on some of the seniors on this Alabama State squad. And remember, Tavares Jackson, he has some future ahead of him, and this time a good catch across midfield and a first down this time by Reggie Glover. He went up and got that one.
Yeah, they threw a strike. You know, he's trying to make up for that missed touchdown. There's no quitting this guy. Glover stepped up towards the end of the year, and he's getting ready for next year. And, you know, it's something Alabama State can learn from to realize, hey, this team here is going to win the Black College National Championship, and they may not be that much better than us, or at least they weren't on this particular day. So use that during the offseason to light a little bit of fire in your belly and come out swinging for the fences next season.
And see, they don't lose that many people. Southern loses probably more people, quality people, as we have a pass complete on the far sideline, and maybe Southern, now that should be a flag, a late flag out of bounds. See, I see, that was no reason for that. The man's out of bounds, and he's being tackled as he's going out of bounds. You know, I mean, I guess there's a fight going on in the middle of the field.
Yeah, and this is what you don't like to see. I mean, you know, this is what you don't like to see there.
Look at him. They're still jumping on him.
You know, getting in there late on the pile there. And, you know, it was a hard-fought football game. Things didn't go the way you wanted to go for either football team. And one team celebrating too much. 2 quality programs, 2 well-coached programs, and guys out there making bad decisions right now. Some people are sore losers, some people are sore winners. It's not stuff that you want to motivate and see, and there's no room for fighting on the championship stage in national TV.
And there was a couple offensive line. Pete Richardson's in number 99.
Get him, coach. Get him.
He's in his face. That's Andre Payton, defensive end, a redshirt junior, number 99.
See, now this is what I'd rather see. I don't want to see people throwing punches. I want to see that classical sounding Southern University marching jukebox band. Let them play the song. They played probably the best version of We Are the Champion I've ever heard. And my man Ezra Landry had a great career there, number 16. And you know, that's what it's all about. You win championships, bring out the band, strike it up. Lift up the equipments, and everybody's getting ready to celebrate and party. No room for all that fight stuff there. You got too much of your life to live. You know, keep the punches in your pocket and celebrate and realize that, hey, it happens, and crank up the band. You hear that right there?
And Pete Richardson's calling his whole team over, and he's going to talk them. The officials have gotten together. I think they probably ejected 1 or 2 players. A minute 21 to go, and this is something similar that happened on Thanksgiving Day, as you look at a couple of celebrants there for Southern University enjoying the festivities. Kendrick Paul, a linebacker, is one of the men there dancing along with Devontae Bryan, a defensive back. Is next week will be at another championship. It'll be for bragging rights for the CIAA and the SIC. Fayetteville State going against Albany State in the Pioneer Bowl from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. Our sports desk comes your way at 1:30 Eastern Time, followed by the game. Jay and I will be there to bring you all the action from the Pioneer Bowl in Atlanta next Saturday, right here on NBC.
The thing about Southern, which is so good, wherever they play, and one of the reasons they've had so much success with the program is because of the fans they've got. They can go to any stadium in the country and never truly feel like they're on a foreign territory, because the Jaguar Nation, and we said it for a while, that's what they call their fans, their legions. They travel all over the place. They'll go as far west. Think about where they've gone this year. They went out to Las Vegas. They go down to Mobile. They've been everywhere, and they travel. And Coach Richardson says, hey, I like knowing that wherever we go, there's Southern University people everywhere. California, Las Vegas, Washington, D.C., New York, Florida, they're everywhere. And I think the 12th man in this case, the Jaguar Nation, deserves a special MVP trophy as well.
And we've got offsetting penalties again, but I think that they're going to mark the ball down. You remember this whole thing started when I thought it should have been a penalty out of bounds. And it was nowhere near where all this other action was going on.
You know, I'm looking at these kids here, and it makes me go back to, I remember when I won my league conference championship.
Here's one kid
best feeling you can have right there in the world.
Done a great job. Taurus Morgan, he transferred in here out of Mississippi State this year. Of course, they're getting a new coach coming up next year with coming from Green Bay.
Yep.
But Taurus Morgan was a man who came out of Mississippi State. There you see Sean Peoples, who got 1,000 yards for the season with his rushing today.
Everybody's happy, you know. What they're feeling so happy is because everything that you do, you don't win a championship today. You win the championship back in June and July before the season starts, during training camp. You win it during the off season when you're lifting weights and doing all those extra sprints in that heat down there and humidity down in Baton Rouge. That's what you do all the off season conditioning for us, for moments like this, to say we're the champions, we represented our conference well, and we're on national TV, and there's nothing nobody can ever take from us. Because no matter what you say, the 2003 Black College National Champions will always be Southern University. They don't have an eraser when it comes time to take those stats down.
Well, there you see what a difference a year makes. We were talking about the fact that a year ago, Southern University's defense gave up 33 touchdowns and over 4,000 yards. This year, the defense stiffened and allowed only 19 touchdowns, 3,533 yards. That's that dog day defense they were talking about. They dogged everybody's day.
Yeah. Yeah. What happened, they messed around and got tough. I mean, you know, they got tough, and they got tired of the offense getting all the statistics, and they got tough, and they tightened up some folks, and you started to fear that. And, you know, the anchor of that defense for years has been Lenny Williams doing a good job, and that Jamal George kept up, came in this year and played fantastically, and, you know, they dominated all the postseason awards, and that defense had just as many members as the offense did in terms of all conference. Taurus Morgan and Kendrick Paul and all those guys, I mean, they were just ball hawks, and they played a fantastic brand of football this year. You know, who'll ever forget? I think, although this is the culmination of a great season, have you ever seen a better half of football than last week in that showdown they had with Grambling?
No, that was one of the greatest games you will ever see, a 44-41 final. And I'll tell you, they did a fantastic job, this Southern University team. I mean, they've gotten Doug's number. I mean, he just can't beat Southern for some reason or another. So there's a first down after the penalties and everything has been sorted out. We're down to a minute and 10 seconds remaining. 1st and 10, Alabama State. And here's a man into the end zone. Touchdown. Finally. And it's the young man who dropped one earlier. That's Reggie Glover. And he comes up with the touchdown reception. It's his 5th of the year.
He dropped the easy one. He catches the tough one there. But that's just the way things go in this game of football there. Good job there. Good throw by Fortson. What you're going to see him do is run the corner pattern here. Fortson gets in the pocket. He has time to deliver a strike, and he throws a nice ball. And you see the 21 go up and get it nice with a great catch there. That's Rogers on a great job coming down with the reception. Glover. Reginald Glover coming down with the football there to amend for the earlier drop he had in the end zone.
Minute 2 to go in the game, and for Nick Fortson, it's an opportunity for him to get something going. He's a junior out of San Diego, California. 3rd touchdown pass this year. They're going to go for the 2-point conversion. And it's batted in the air and it goes incomplete. So it's a 20-9 ball game with the incompletion. Let's look at the touchdown for 22 yards again. Glover from Nick Fortson.
Yeah, you know, they go to bunch formation, and Glover's going to come out the pack there, a little misdirection this way, and watch him go up high for that ball and accelerate. And part of the reason why they go with that bunch formation is to confuse the defense. You don't know who's going inside, who's going outside. You only have a split second to react. And you know, we talked about Glover dropping the touchdown earlier. Well, that's because it was only a 4-yard touchdown. He averages 21 yards per catch. That touchdown he just got, 22 yards.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he keeps his average up. A minute and 2 remaining, so Southern will get the ball for one last time. We talked about the defense. We look at the Pioneer Bowl next week and the NBC Sports Desk at 1:30. Pioneer Bowl comes your way at 2 p.m. And yeah, let's check out some of the standings from these two conferences, from the CIAA and the SIAC. Of course, Fayetteville State, and here's the East and the West. Virginia Union won the East. And they played in the championship game, lost to Fayetteville State, followed by Bowie Shaw, Virginia State, and Elizabeth City, while the Western Division had Fayetteville State on the top, followed by Winston-Salem, St. Aug, Livingstone, North Carolina Central, and Johnson C. Smith. And then Fayetteville State and Virginia Union met for the championship. Albany State won out, Kentucky State right on their heels. Miles did a great job also. We got a chance to visit with Miles' coach yesterday, and here's a little onside kick, but Southern recovers it without a problem. But we have a penalty flag down at the 45-yard line now. In this situation,
what was he doing? Was he trying to do a ricochet on that long side?
It doesn't even matter. If I'm the official at this point in the game, minute 2 to go, I wouldn't even throw the flag. Even
I would have called the offside delivery procedure. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. But you know, those officials, they get graded as well. So I think they'll have the opportunity to decline the penalty and just take the football.
Well, you know, one of the things you always ask a coach when you win, what happens? Who's the first person you're going to go and hug?
Well, she's always there. I mean, she's been going through a lot of our games, and you know, and I expect to see her, and you know, regardless of what happens.
That's his wife he's talking about. They've been together for years. He was the head coach at Winston-Salem before coming over to Southern University. This is his 11th year as the head coach of the Jaguars. And he's done a fantastic job. He was the coach of the year in 95, 97, 98. And they played in the first ever SWAC championship football game, in which they beat Jackson State back in 1999. So congratulations to Pete Richardson, the Jaguars of Southern. And they end the season in fine style. 35 seconds left on the clock. One more kneel down. That'll be it. They'll finish the season 12-1. But more importantly, a SWAC championship. And more importantly than that, no question, they're the black national champions.
No doubt about it. They worked hard for it.
Yes.
The only thing they'll say when they look back on this 20 years from now is, what happened with that speed bump we ran into by the name of Alcorn State University?
That was the only thing. They were like one touchdown away from a perfect season. And congratulations to Quincy Richard in his last game, Pete Richardson, and the Jaguars of Southern, who win the 2003 version of the SWAC football championship game, brought to you by G. So let's go downstairs to our sports desk and Mark and Sam.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. For the first time since 1997, the Jaguar Nation can host can hoist, I should say, a national championship banner. With me is someone who knows about winning a national championship, Sam Shade. But first, let's go down to our Rob Jones, who's on the field right now with somebody who's pretty happy about winning this game.
You're exactly right, Mark. Pete, Coach, congratulations, your 5th championship in the SWAC. Where does this one rate?
Well, it's just really important for our football team. You know, we went through a lot of struggles the last couple of years because of injuries. I'm just proud of the way my team played.
You know, not the prettiest game, but a win is a win.
You're right about that. We played hard. We knew we went against a good football team. But anytime you come on top, especially in the championship game, it's important for our program.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations on winning your 5th SWAC championship. Back to you, Mark.
So depending on which poll service you believe, Sam, this is either Coach Richardson's 2nd or 3rd Black College National Championship. But as one who wears a Black College National Championship ring from your days at the University of Alabama, tell me what the emotion is like right now for those Southern Jaguar players.
Well, you saw the excitement on the sideline. The Southern players knowing that they had this game in hand as the seconds ticked off the clock. It's an amazing feeling. It's something that will live with these guys for the rest of their lives. And it's something you can't take away.
When you get down to the X's and the O's and where this game ultimately turned around, where do you see it turning around in the favor of Southern? Because statistically, it was really Alabama State you would figure who finished on top.
Well, definitely. If you look at the statistics, you would think that Alabama State won this ball game because they stopped Southern at times, but Southern, they came up with plays in the red zone. They made a lot of plays in the red zone and too many mistakes by Alabama State.
When you look at the entire body of work for both of these teams this coming season, first off with Alabama State, Sam, could they have just run out of emotional gas, for lack of a better term? They've been through so much since before season start, coming here today to lay an egg like that?
Well, you know, they were picked to finish last in the SWAC Eastern Conference. They were picked to finish last in that division. So for them to be here today, that's something special, something for them to build on. And I think that Coach Charlie Cole, he's going to be back next year.
All right, let's go back down to the field where Rob Jones has the SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, Quincy Richard.
Quincy, congratulations on winning the SWAC championship. What a great run. What a great career you had here at Southern University.
It's great. It's great to win. I just thank my coaches and teammates for everything they've done for me throughout my career here.
Now, you were banged up. You came in and out of the game. You were giving your backup quarterback a lot of incentive, but you are the star of this team.
This team is the star of this team, from coaches to players. I just can't thank them enough for what they've done for me this year.
What's next for you?
Who knows? Who knows? Hopefully the best.
All right, thanks a lot. Quincy Richard and the Southern Jaguars, the 2003 SWAC champions.
Thanks a lot. And there's Pete Richardson and his better half, his lovely wife, as he prepares to accept the SWAC championship trophy. And, you know, it's just been an amazing story, Sam. Your first season of Black college football, Sam, quickly, your thoughts.
Well, I tell you, it's been awesome. Had a chance to see Southern at homecoming, and I thought then that this Southern team, I thought they were one of the teams that, in the end, they were going to be still standing, and they are.
Well, we around NBC like to talk about the fact that there's nothing like Black college football. It truly is a piece of African Americana, and we're just pleased that you were able to join us this afternoon for a very special day of SWAC championship football. Don't forget, coming up next Saturday, the final football game of the season, live from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, the Pioneer Bowl, where the best of the CIAA meets the best of the SIAC as Fayetteville State takes on Albany State. For Charlie Neal, Sam Shade, Luke Williams, Rob Jones, and Jay Walker, I'm Mark Gray. So long from Legion Field in Birmingham. We will see you from the NBC Sports Desk in Atlanta next Saturday.
This has been an NBC Sports presentation.